That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for the final day here at the Level Clash 2. We have got two semi-final games coming your way, then leading up into the grand final. And my, oh my, we were talking about this earlier on Twitter. This feels like some WWE style storyline for how these matches are about to go down. We've got Bonk taking on NiP, and then we've got G2 taking on FPX. But before we get into that, you got to introduce me and Mitch here. We are your commentators, we are your hosts, we are your interviewers. We're doing everything at this point because we love this game. We want to see it go down. Mitch, yesterday was pretty damn fun. You had a very sad moment, right? You couldn't handle the madness that was Liquid going out early on. Have you recovered from that yet?
I don't think so. I still feel like I'm in some sort of dream world. Looking at the semifinals without a Team Liquid here, it doesn't feel like reality. But that doesn't take anything away from the teams that have made it this far, because they've proven that they deserve their spots.
Oh, they really have, right? When it comes to it, Bonk, you not maybe as sold as what I was on them. I've been singing their praises for a while. They came, they showed up, they topped their group, they marched on forward. Now they get this epic matchup against an NiP that at times looks really good, but it was the NiP that some of these players used to be on the roster of. So there's a bit of rivalry when it comes to that one. That's what I'm excited to see how it all goes down, especially in a best of three, especially after you've seen in that interview. How confident was that guy?
Oh man, it wasn't even like arrogant confidence, right?
No.
They're just so happy. They're so jolly the whole time, thinking, you know what, we might be down, but just keep comms positive. We can do it. And yeah, mind over matter, realistically, end of the day. If they can manage to come in with that same mentality, which I'm sure they will, and the performance that they were delivering, NiP could be in trouble because the inconsistencies have been there, and we haven't seen them on stream yet, Banks. But I actually was taking a look back through the other games, and I've got some pretty interesting insight to bring into Hip, because for a little bit we were saying how he was trying to find his groove, right? He was a player that didn't quite know what he wanted to play. Yeah, exactly. And he was messing around agent to agent. Nothing really seemed to fit. Now I think we know why they were doing that, because yesterday we saw him taking out the brand new Killjoy. He's got it in force, and not just on the likes of Ascent, but even Bind, where in NA she has what, an 8% pick rate. It's very, very low. So to see him just consistently pull out Killjoy, maybe now he's finally found his groove.
Hey, now you mentioned NA there, right? I'm going to clear up some air out here. People were saying like, oh, this EU versus NA thing, EU commentators just being so biased. Well, wait a second. We're here to put on a good show. We're here to have some fun. I'm all down for the WWE style showmanship going on, because what I want is that game where we eventually get to it when there's no corona, when everyone can travel again, where we get a big LAN event, and I want to see all these clashes. Because what I love, right, there's a bit of a difference. We saw it. We spoke to God B, right? He was like really humble, like, oh, NiP are a good team, yada yada. He's always been that way. But you look at a lot of these NA players, you just go and watch that flash that was happening, just going on, right? They're going for each other on Twitter. They're gunning for it. The only one I can compare to that is Artis, who definitely has given the best Valorant interview thus far that we've seen. But it's like, I want this rivalry. I want this hype coming up. Because when it comes down to it, right, G2 know that in their minds, they are the best team. They have to think that. But then you've also got the likes of the Sentinels or even TSM. All these guys right now thinking that we're the best team in the world. So right now, I'm all down for it being up in the air. If you can't deal with a bit of banter and shade, well then, hey, maybe you need to kick it up a gear and bring your own level to it all.
No, I'm with you on that, Banks. I mean, it's all for good fun. At the end of the day, I don't think anybody can hands down say this team is the best in the world right now. It's have to prove it. Obviously, we're going to say G2, but it's all fun and games, really. Every single one of us are just excited to get that international event down and see everybody butt heads, so EU can can put up a fight against NA and see who wins. EU.
Well, something that is a bit interesting though, right? We're saying EU and NA the whole time. We've seen some of these Chinese teams. We've seen some of these Korean teams. We even ourselves covered the Southeast Asia region. And although their Asian picks may not be what's normal in NA and EU, there's some really capable players in it, especially individual stars that come out. So when we get to that World Finals, if it's not like an EU versus NA Grand Final, how it would go down, I'm definitely thinking like one of these Asian teams, they got a chance in there because they play a whole different style of Valorant. And that's what it's all about. Right now, Valorant's in its early stages, so we're in a position where things can be mixed up a bit. Things can kind of be tested. You're testing the waters, right? That's what you want to say with it. But there's no defined, like, this is how you should play. It's not like this is the meta, this is what you should be rocking with. Now, I want to come back to the group stage a bit, Mitch, though. We've had our fun with this whole banter, the rivalry side of things. when we looked at this, and I know you were a little bit upset, we said Ricks and Giants, it was pretty much a coin toss on who would be able to take it through. Ricks are the ones that made it through. But my, oh my, that Giants gaming roster, they have some skilled players on it. They're definitely a team to look out for.
Oh, 100%. Look, I was saying it yesterday when it came to Giants and Inferno as well. Inferno's a team that has a lot of potential as individuals. We just haven't seen them as a team just yet. They need that time to really grow. Giants, though, I don't even think they need that time. I think if you run those group stages over another 4 or 5 times, they probably make it through a decent percentage of the time. They didn't deliver up against Ricks in the way I wanted them to, but they've got so much potential. And I think hands down, my favorite Sova to watch in the form of Jamba. That guy is just, he's putting so much time into this game. It's unbelievable.
And then when we're looking at the side of Skade, okay, they came through and they showed us what they could do against Liquid. But my, oh my, FPX, they really manhandled them. Like, I'm really happy, and I said this on Twitter, that like, we're finally getting another EU organization pick up a team. Shout out to Skade for doing that, because for some reason, like, everyone's picking up these NA teams, and that doesn't actually mean anything right now in terms of, oh, there's just like better players on NA. We've got some really capable players, like, look at FPX, look how good they are, and they've only just been picked up. Like, we're just waiting for orgs to start their investment. Like, where are your fanatics and stuff like that? When are they going to come in and get involved? Hopefully early next year, maybe, I don't know. Even sooner would be nice, but we got a lot of talented teams and players out here looking for organizations. And people really kind of negatively attack Skade for their performance against FPX. They still beat Liquid. Like, that's legit. And on the map that Liquid won against them in the other best of one, it doesn't matter because that was still close as well. Like, it's not a fluke of what Skade pulled off here.
No, I just look at how FPX have been playing. Granted, they've played Wave, BBL, and then Skade. They haven't been the toughest of opponents by any stretch of the imagination, but still, they've been bodying. There's been no cracks at all. And if they're playing that tight of Valorant, they're definitely a team that you can accept those kind of results versus, because at the moment, you know, you look at how they played going into the Allied Odyssey with a couple days prac under their belt, like they were a brand new roster, and they managed to get to the finals. They managed to do serious damage against the best teams in the world. Now that they've got those extra weeks of preparation, it's what we said coming into this tournament. It's scary to think about what they can do, and already they're delivering. They haven't lost enough rounds from the start of group stages till the semifinals to even lose a single map. 11 total. What is that?
That was a wild performance, right? And now when they're coming up against G2, okay, we know that's going to be a complete back and forth. But FPX have done it before. They've taken maps off G2. They've pushed G2 around a bit. So you can see they're hungry. Angel even said himself, though, he expects G2 to be like coming forward. That they are a better team right now, is what he said in the interview. But he's saying right now, with the little practice they've had, with the fact that some of them can't even commit the full time to it, right, that they're still in a great spot, and he's still happy with growing and developing these players. That's what I loved about that interview, is you can hear how good Angel feels. Confident with the players he has. He's happy how much they want it as much as him. And they've kind of given this old man a new lease of life, which is impressive.
Calling him an old man, Banks. What's it say about you?
We're the same age. We're the same age. me and him had it, right? You got told off by Gob for talking about old men yesterday, Mitch.
It's true.
Angels are rocking it with me as well. You were outnumbered yesterday for once.
We got to get some like 17, 18-year-old players in here so we can talk about like our childhoods growing up. Be like, do you know what a cassette tape is? But when you look at G2, like they've been mortal in a way.
Yep.
Okay, obviously coming into their game versus Ricks, we didn't get to see that on stream, but they only lost 10 rounds. Ascent was 13-8, Bind was 13-2. They bodied them. But we saw in their first game that they certainly weren't on form. And you remember what David P said, you know, they weren't G2, they were G-Dog. But I don't think they'll be coming in with that kind of performance. This is where they're 100% tuned in from the start, because they need to prove against the likes of Liquid, against the likes of FPX, that they're still that #1 team in the region and that nobody's threatening them for the throne.
Well, let's take a look at our bracket, Mitch, and see how today is going to go down. We're starting with NiP taking on Bonk. Then we get to see G2 go up against FPX. After that, we'll have our grand finals. Now, the thing here for me, right, we spoke about it a bit already. Bonk versus NiP. That's a matchup of some of the old players that were on the ex-NiP lineup, the Paladins World Championship lineup, going up against NiP now, who used to be on NiP, now wanting their revenge, right? But they've already had that revenge before. Like, now they want to do it in a big tournament. Now they want to put them on from some elimination moment.
Well, that's it, right? They had their 2-1 victory, winning out of best of 3 in the Mandatory Cup. That's a big one for them to take. You're looking at the same roster. It was a close game at the start, and then it just managed to swing over in the last map over into Bonk's favor. Now, when I look at that, it's a little bit ago, right? We're going back to August 1st. I think there's going to be a lot of question marks around whether NiP will still be on that form. Gobby said it himself, looking at the Allied Odyssey, and we were saying it on the desk. That wasn't really the team that we expect from NiP. That's why we were, if you were watching that tournament, we were very harsh on NiP from start till finish. And it was just because they're NiP. Not even the name value of the org, but the players as well. This is a team that can deliver. Now, I mentioned Hip was trying to find his identity. He was swapping agents constantly. You obviously spoke to him, Banks, and he was saying that he didn't feel comfortable. He was trying to find his groove. And I think the reason he was switching around like that was because they're going on to the Killjoy. He's now coming in trying to be the Killjoy player, and I'm all for it. Because this is a guy that we saw him play at Phoenix, and I made the caveat that was like, all of those kills, 99%, are not because of Phoenix, because it was just him shooting people in the head. He wasn't even using his abilities. And now that he's Killjoy, he's got the ability to lock down the map, bring so much value to the team, and still do the exact same thing he always does, pop heads.
Yeah, this is a thing, right? He spoke about it to me. We were talking on Twitter, and he was just like, right now, for the first time in his entire career, this is not just Valorant, but this is even back when he was playing Overwatch, Hip didn't feel like he had a character, an agent within a game where he was like, this is me. So maybe Killjoy's it. Maybe this is the turnaround, right? We're going to have to wait and see, because yesterday's game against Big, they looked very impressive in group stages. They had a good time as well. But now is the real test when you go up against Bonk, who are putting in work, who don't have an org, are grinding. And like you heard it from Yassine, he sat there saying, we will have an org soon. Like, he's telling us straight up. And he's like, when we win the grand finals. And I respect that kind of confidence, because it was him and Ziz who were popping off to a whole other level. And I really feel like, imagine if you get Bonk playing up to his usual standard. He is such an incredible player normally. If you can get him to play well, because he had a rough day yesterday, imagine what will be difficult for NiP to deal with that. They're going to need the whole of NiP to come online from a tactical standpoint as well, not just fragging out. And that Killjoy's going to have to put in some serious work.
You have to remember, it was Zipan, Yassine, and Bonk that were on this lineup just before the likes of Looker came in and took those spots up, and we saw the current NiP start to really form. So this is, okay, they're not former teammates, but they're the team that came and took their org that Bonk are now looking for. So this is their chance to yet again say, okay, we beat you before, but now that you're on form, which I think this results this tournament have proven, certainly the game versus Big, they dominated. They had a 13-0 and a 13-9 win. We can then, if Bonk win this, they can be confident that they're not just better than NiP on a bad day, but they're better any day.
Now, when I'm looking at Bonk, right, we speak about what Lucker can do and the fact that he's been incredible using his operator very well. I am really excited to see him go up against Safe, because Safe wasn't really a player I had my mind on. Like, he isn't one of the players where I sit on there and go, oh yeah, like, phenomenal player, can do some crazy stuff. Yesterday, at multiple moments, he impressed me, and I'm like, ooh, what is going on here? Like, Safe can be good, but yesterday he was playing lights out, and I'm really intrigued to see if it's going to work up against a team like NiP, right? If he can have that same level of confidence, because like Yassine said, they were feeling it, they were feeling very good. It's definitely all clicked and worked for them. But Safe, for me, could be the difference maker in a bigger way than I actually expected going into this tournament. And this is a team that I've been looking at very closely.
Yeah, you know the thing that I love about Safe as well, and I'm actually heartbroken, genuinely, that we didn't get to see their game versus Angry Titans, because he actually pulled out a Viper. He did it for me on Split. And I'm really going to hope...
On Split again. It's always Split, isn't it?
It is. It is. Look, she works so well on Split. I think it's definitely Viper's best map. Always has been, even when we're going back to the nerfed version. And now that she's buffed up a little bit, I want to see more teams deploy her. Okay, maybe she isn't the best agent to have, but now that the ultimate is even more valuable, that it stays up for longer, her abilities don't nerf off or eat into each other's bar, I think there's a lot that we can really see from a solid Viper. It's just about committing the time, and people already have their agents kind of locked in. They know what they're playing, so experimenting now with a new agent that's just being buffed, it's like, might just keep what I have. But Safe's going out there, he's putting his neck out. I appreciate it, and if we get a split today, that's what I'm going to keep my eye on. I want to see the Viper come out in force.
Ooh. Do you know if he uses it like regularly on Split, or is it just that you pulled out this time?
I think it was just versus Angry Titans. I'll go and take a quick look.
Because I'm thinking, right, do you pull that out in a semi-final against NiP? Ooh. Do you really try and pop it?
Excuse me, actually, never mind. Every single time. That's 10 games out of 10. He's pulled it out. Fair play. I didn't even pick up on that the first time around. So
there we go.
we could be looking at the Viper coming through. I'm a big fan of that. So obviously committing that much time to learning an agent and really perfecting it is something that we haven't seen when it comes to Viper. I think the last time I saw a Viper I was really impressed with was in the beta, looking at Team Smoke Easy and Jammies over in North America. That was the last time I saw a Viper that it was like really innovative. There was lots of new things coming out, one-way smokes here, there, and everywhere. And since then, I haven't been impressed by anything that it's like one person pulling it out when they're massively favored to just stomp an opponent, and that's pretty much it.
Now, I'm going all the way back to the We Play tournament, Mitch, and Kree was a man that was looking really good from start to finish there. When we come to Allied Odyssey, maybe not so much coming in there. They're still mixing things up. How do you feel much is going to rely on him having this great game, right? In terms of his agent is such a key pick for this team. We see the rest of them can mix it up a little bit here. We know Lucka has been just incredible and consistent from start to finish. Even when we criticize him for missing shots, he's still topped in the scoreboards.
Yeah, you know, Kree is typically going to be the player that goes in for those opening duels, certainly on maps like Bind, where they like to get a little bit more scrappy. It's more direct into duels. And I feel like on any given day, it's going to be the likes of Kree and it's going to be Hip that we look at. Looker, it depends because he's kind of segued over to taking a Sage out. When he's got the Jet up, you expect big performances. When he's on the Sage, he plays a little bit more passive. And I think it's good that he has that kind of lasso on his style, that he knows that, okay, I'm playing the Sage. This isn't where I start to play these super aggro angles. Like, remember the game where we saw him push up on mid on Bind again and again and again. It just kept working out because he could dash back. Do that with a Sage, you don't have the ability to escape, or you're going to have to burn your wall, and it's not worthwhile, not worth taking that risk. So yeah, really, Hip, Kree, they're the ones I'm looking at to deliver the performances in this. If they come in lacking, I think Bonk could have the series in their belt.
Well, Mitch, it's time for us to look at another 3D aim trainer. Now, we've got to go at this ourselves as well, so I can't wait for that to come up. But I guess we're going to look at some players. They look at you like, oh, God, straight away. We're going to take a look at Bonk himself from Bonk. Well, Bonkar from Bonk. Here we go. Mr. Emil is going to be showing us what he's got here. Like, okay, Mitch, so we looked at our percentage, right? And we weren't too unhappy with it. These players are just wrecking it the whole time.
I'll be honest, Banks, the reaction time being 34% makes me feel a whole lot better about mine. Hopefully the graphics won't be ready in time to pull it up for us. But yeah, like, this is insane. They're looking at these players, like, here's Fearoth.
1% the whole way around.
Absolutely ridiculous. Look at all that red. God, I'm going to have a single 1%.
So, okay, this is what it is, yeah? When it comes to it, Fearoth, yeah, when it comes to it, he wins in general at flicking. It was super close. He has a higher accuracy, but Emil was actually faster to react to the flick with his mouse. So in a duel, it's hard to say who will win. This is information that we're being fed to us right now. When it came to tracking for Bonk Emil, it says, in tracking, it seems Emil is more accurate than Fearoth, unlike in flicking. Then when it comes to clicking, NiP Fearoth wins. It seems Fearoth offers up a bit more accuracy to shoot the targets down faster. Again, a very close call. So you can see how evenly matched they are.
Oh, it's ridiculous, really. When you come to this level, though, you expect that, right? A lot of these players are going to be neck and neck when it comes, because you're pushing your body, really, to the limits that it can be at. There's only so much you can do in terms of hitting shots as quickly as possible, short of hot wiring your brain into the computer. You're not going to get much better than some of these guys. And certainly in my case, I'm not going to get anywhere near as good.
Oh, I can't wait for them.
Can we just not pull these stats up?
Yeah, look at you, you're getting scared. So let's just break this down before we get into the game, right? So I'm 30 years old. I retired in 2007, Mitch. Yeah, you are 22. You play a hell of a lot more games than what I do, because I have a family, and a life outside this that I don't get to play as much. And naturally, you're fearing for what your stats might show here. I'm smiling away because this old man, as you keep calling me, maybe not so bad, huh?
See, I just know that if you do win, I'm never going to hear the end of it. Every death segment.
No, I'm not
forever.
like you. I'm not like you. I don't need to gloat. I already know I was better. Okay, where was your pro career? Where was your pro career?
All right, okay.
There we go. Luckily, you sound good, Mitch, and you look good while doing it as well. That's the benefit we have here. What I do want, though, is everyone in chat, give this a go, because I've never used one of these training tools, but actually it's legit. I could see myself going back to this and like doing it. I don't know. I want to try it when I first wake up. I want to try it middle of the day. I want to try it in the evening. I want to see where I'm going to get to it. And it's great because you can see where all these players, like loads of the pro players have done it. You can see where you rank. I was actually in the top 25 for one of them. like rocking it up there with some of these pros. Were you, Mitch? Were you anywhere near top 25 in anything?
I haven't got the stats, sorry.
Oh, yeah, of course. You're not going to have that one out there. So we're going to go through the picks and bans when it comes to it. We've got NiP ban split, Bonk picked Ascent, NiP picked Bind, and Haven is left over. So, Bonk picking Ascent, Mitch. I'm a fan of that.
Okay, so coming in on the Ascent up against NiP obviously means they're going to be starting on the attacking side. Now, oh, look at this. We've got the rates up here. I was about to pull up my own stats, but never mind. We've got them for you, right? Neatly packaged. So when it comes down to Ascent, you can see the win rate is pretty much neck and neck. NiP have played it that little bit more. So maybe this could be a bit of a slip up. If anything, just looking at those stats, you'd imagine that it would be Ascent that would be the decider, right? The middle ground.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's one of those ones where I guess Bonk have seen something in NiP's play, because we've seen NiP have some awful Ascent games, let's be honest, right? Yeah. We've seen them really not hit the mark when it comes to it.
Well, yeah, you look at some of the results. Obviously, they were close. They 14-12 win over Rix, 13-11 over Inferno, and that's not really inspiring. But then again, they've managed to pull maps off of the likes of FPX and almost beat G2. So it is a decent enough map for them most of the time, but not in the start of this pistol round, at least. They've already lost the opening duel. And look at Bonk's approach.
I love this.
They go top mid, or bottom mid, I suppose. Rush all the way through and then just slowly back away.
You love to see it, man. You love to see it. I'm all for this, because what this means is that they got the early pick, right? They're going to keep NiP guessing on their toes. It could come from any direction. Now, interestingly enough, seeing the Killjoy on Hip set up here at B is great. I'm all for this. But so the Sova's not here, though. Okay, so they're playing the Sova towards A. So it's going to be Kree and Hip over towards B. This is going to be interesting to see how they deal with it. Bonker's going to get his recon up. Lucker's pushing in so fast. Safe. He's on top of it. Oh, this is huge already. 2 players down. Hip doesn't know where to look or where to turn. Safe's up high, and he's been able to get so much damage done, Mitch. That was crazy.
Yeah, things have not exactly gone well.
Oh, Kree! How's he not checked? What is going on?
He's just picked up 4. He's looking for the ace. 2 seconds left. They have to push him, and Safe just about wins it. My God, though. They left him unchecked for so long.
My God. Mitch, at first I didn't realize where Safe was getting the kills from on the wall. I watched Lucker dash away to get back into the site, and I'm thinking, okay, wait a second, where's going on? Even our poor observer was doing his best to try and understand what was happening, and you're just watching NiP get wrecked, and then all of a sudden Kree just not checked. I thought he died. I thought he went out early on because they were in the site, and then all of a sudden it's like Kree's dominating, and then Safe just finishes it off. That should have been such an easy round for Bonk, and it nearly slipped away.
Well, that's one hell of a start to the pistol. We said this was going to be a good game, but I didn't expect this much adrenaline this early on in the day. Ease off the Red Bull a little bit. My heart can't take it.
My, oh my. Oh, nicely done by Rhyme onto Yacindo. Takes a bit of damage himself, but he can easily just heal himself up. No backup coming in just yet. Bit late to the party. And the rest of the guys coming in there.
So at this stage, really, if you're Bonk, you've lost the opening duel. You're up against Pistols. You know that they've obviously hurt a lot of you outside of A, so the rotates have probably come through. And what do Pistols do? They come in, they try to charge you down in numbers, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening. A good paranoia led to those players being pushed back, but heals are underway. Retrieve weapon for Looker, grabs a double, and it's a 3v1. They didn't invest anything, Banks. It was a couple of abilities, which we talk about again and again, right? You're on an eco, just buy up your abilities because you don't lose them if you die. And there you see it. Because the paranoia was still available, it went through, it allowed them to push them into a choke point, and for some reason, Bonk just kept on trying to take the fights.
Yeah, it was not, I mean, at all defensive from Bonk. Great teamwork coming out from the NiP side. The 3-man push there. That was huge. I'm just shocked once again at what's going on in these rounds. Like, we mentioned how good Safe was. He proved us that on the pistol round. I'm all down for that. But just what NiP showed us there was that's the teamwork, right? That's the game plan coming into it. Because Bonk just got caught completely slipping, didn't even have a chance to react.
So, like, right, to talk about that round in depth, I love the start of it. You have Rhyme winning a duel. That's nothing to do with strategy. It's just really good shots hit, right click into left, gets the frag. Okay. Bonk's reaction from that point was to stick outside of A for 20 seconds. You know at that point the rotates have come in because they're still hearing steps. You're spamming away, you're letting them know you're there. Now usually that's where I think you're faking, right? You're looking for a push on B or mid, you're trying to go into the B site late once you've caused the rotates. But they stay in position, and they stay, and they stay. Eventually, NiP decide to push forward, and Bonk just so they got pushed back to the choke point, and instead of falling back and taking the ranged fights, which is what would obviously favor them, the only weapon the enemies managed to retrieve was the Spectre, they just stay there, and then they try to push back in and take the fights versus the pistols when they're set up and have numbers. That was ludicrous. I have no idea what the comms were there, why they felt like they needed to take those fights, but they definitely didn't.
And you know the wall they were hiding behind? It meant they had to spam with Spectres, which aren't doing massive amount of damage anyway. And the angle you're sat at, the pistols can just tap, like, tap, 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 no problem at all. Already, though, Lucker in a great position. They're lining up for him. Oh, he misses a key one. He will get taken down, but Rhyme's there trying to make sure he can hold on to it. He definitely doesn't want to allow them to get hold of that operator.
Always a problem. Oh, hold on. Rhyme under threat. He got the trade out. It's always a problem when you find that first kill, right? But you use your dash early to stay around in an aggressive position like we saw from Looker there. I think, so had he have hit his third shot and found the kill, his dash would be back online and he could get out of there. So he's really gambling on being able to connect that. But obviously, without being able to find it, he was in a little bit of trouble. Obviously, the one thing we haven't mentioned as well is that NiP have traded out their Cypher for the Killjoy. So it's playing towards the A site. And normally you will see Cypher playing here anyways. But the advantage really for me with the Killjoy is, let's say you want to rotate and go to the B site. You think they're going to push. With a Cypher, you have to keep checking your camera. With a Killjoy...
Oh, Lucker.
You don't, right? That
Sorry,
camera...
Mitch.
No, you're all good.
I literally could just see him getting slapped there, and I was thinking, wait a second.
Oh, this is great as well. Look, the shock dart lineup ready to go. Rhyme is going to be taking the opening fight. There we go. He finds it, bails back. Here's the shock dart through. Oh, it's a recon.
Oh,
so he's able to spray away. They're running into it as well. And the Odin, again, used for that wallbang. We see it so often. And that was a really nice setup because they're going to... I thought it was a shock dart to help out on the second fight. But obviously, they're so focused on taking that duel, they're not paying attention to the recon coming up behind them. And that's where you just get the easiest spray of your life.
And you can see the teamwork on the defensive side here for NiP. The communication, the lineup's ready, the idea on how to play it. Fear of dominating with an Odin, of course. You can see like the Sova on pistol round was at A. He's now moved back over towards B. So they're mixing up positions in here. Rhyme needs to be really careful. His position's not going to be checked. He's good for one. He's trying to hold it down. Yassine's fallen as well, but he's not going to check his corners. He's shot down by Bonka. But that's a 1v3 for him now. He's going to have to make a big push in here. He's got the Odin to deal with on the main site here of B. Problematic for sure. He's trying to check his corners. Too many corners to check. A few bullets tapped towards him. They're dancing. And Fearoff's even still going to get it with the Odin. All right. Easy now, Fearoff. Feeling comfortable with it.
Yep. And the good old Irishman dealing severe damage. I'm always going to pull it out, Banks. He's always going to be claimed by Era. Actually, I was talking to some of the guys recently, though, that obviously played in a lot of the Irish lands, and it's really cool to see. They were all so happy to see Fearoff coming through and obviously delivering.
He's not Irish, god damn it.
Yeah, well, we all know him pretty well because he plays in the Irish scene, so play that one land. But, no, like...
The Twitch chat, Ireland is so desperate for players that they are claiming a French man that once attended an Irish land is one of their own.
He played with Connor, he played with Laney over in Smoke Criminals. He's played with Irish people. He's played an Irish land with Irish people. What more? Really, he's Irish at this point, you know?
Okay, production, please make sure we get Fearoff on for the interview so I can ask him the magic question. Do you consider yourself a semi-Irish player because of that one land you attended? Mitch seems to claim all your fame. Yeah, you get on that, Mitch.
I'll give you $100 if you say yes. We have to do it for Ireland. But no, like everybody that used to play with him was all really happy to see him deliver this kind of performance on a top team because obviously in Counter-Strike he had a lot of promise. He's a really nice guy, but just didn't hit that success. Same as a lot of these guys. And yet Valorant, they've just come through and been able to deliver this insane level of play. I do wonder, going to a new game if that makes a big difference. There's a small thing with pings actually. they ping the doorway just so Yassine knows exactly where to put that drone. No RNG, you know, maybe he misses the angle or misinterprets where he is. That's a really small thing, but it's really important as well.
Oh, seems to escape through. Lucka missing a key shot, puts the smoke down. He's going to get pushed. He still lands the headshot. But it's not going to be enough to take Yassine down. He couldn't quite reach that operator. They're putting the pressure on Hip as well. He's standing strong for now. He needs some backup from his teammates, but the pistols, they're proving far too strong for Nip. They need to turn this around, and Rhyme's the one to do it. The lockdown starts to come in. The site is certainly secured. But, oh, the revive comes in, and you'd see, that's how scared Nip were. They wanted to commit to that. They may be 4-1 up, but that was looking hella scary going up against pistols.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time you're going to just go in for those res as well whenever you've got a Sage that's popping up so heavily, like 8 kills for Rhyme already. Reality is, you know, in 2 or 3 rounds, they'll probably have it back online again. So why not, you know, give yourself that extra chance to win out the round, just in case things do go south. Now, when you look at the buy for Bonk, they're back up here with an operator. They've got the rifles in play. Now, for a 4-1 scoreline, having won the pistol, they're going to be pretty devastated with where they are. Like, that second round should have been so easy for them. And those small decisions that didn't quite work out for them. This is dangerous. The TP couldn't come through. Kree got caught on a very aggressive angle. But luckily, there's still the killjoy there, so she can delay quite a while. Thing is, if you look at where her abilities are, she hasn't got any position for long.
No.
Rhyme's already been taken down, and now this has turned into a bit of a disaster, honestly. A 5 versus 3. Obviously, no res, even if they did have a Sage back online, and they fully rotated to A. At this point, they're realizing, well, they have no control over the B site. And I find these moments to be the hardest to make any sort of a decision. What do you do? Do you commit towards, like, splitting up and having a 1vx on the B side or a 2vx on A? Do you just group up and play the gamble, maybe save your weapons if things don't go right, even with the money they've got? There's so many things, and I don't think there's any right decision, really. They just have to hope that whenever Bonk do push, they'll be able to find a couple of kills and make the right gamble.
Now you got to remember here for Bonk, 5v3, but you can't risk losing a round like this when you're so in charge. You have everything under your control. They're waiting now outside of B, which has actually been gamble stacked away from. So NiP are focusing in on A. They believe that's where it was going to be hit, but they don't have so much information, right? No one's spotting mid. No one's looking out for it. A lot's going to be committed from Bonk as they try to push in. Ziz even commits the Omen ult. Teleports all the way to the back lines. No one's there. He's in a really good position either way. And if you're NiP, you probably just save your weapons, right? Why would you even go for this? Like, maybe 3v5. Maybe if they start to push you, there's potential for it. But ultimately, this should not be a round that NiP can even have a chance in.
No. No, it really shouldn't. Considering the fact that they're 4-1 up and now obviously conceding this one 4-2, it's definitely worthwhile just saving over. They have no economic concerns because of the fact that even the round they won was an eco, so all the weapons they retrieved were bonuses, they were free pickups. If you're NiP right now, you're just happy to be in this position considering the fact that they lost the pistol. Now,
unlucky.
I do love the attempt, though. If you throw through that nano swarm and you manage to keep them trapped in, that's guaranteed kills. They either die on the way out, or you manage to... Sorry, they die from your nano swarm on the way out, or you delay them enough that they get killed by the spike. So that could have been huge. I appreciate the attempt by Hip, and they had the money to do it anyways, so YOLO. That was his approach.
Now for me, right, that push there, maybe not too much of an overextension from Hip, the fact that he might just want to hold an angle, but I just don't think he expected players to be that closely pushed up on him. Puts himself in a tough spot, at least for the round. At least money's not awful for them. They've managed to get a good string of rounds together. The fact that they were even able to win that second round off the back of the pistol win for Bonk has been impressive. Now Bonk are fighting from behind where they should have already been at a 2-0, potentially more had they had the momentum from it.
You also got to take a look at Ascent. Ascent in general plays out as a, in this tournament so far, 55% defensive side. I think it's roughly that when it comes to EU comp in general. And with the double openings, what's happening over here? Just shutting down the A site one after another. Goes through with the nano swarm as well, keeping them back, even dealing damage to safe. The smoke stopped him from seeing it coming, but it was only a little bit of a tickle.
That's going to force out the res onto Yassine. Puts it back into the 4v4. Yeah, the wall going down. Now, the real interesting part here, Mitch. is that you spoke about Killjoy being used over here. We spoke about him needing to find his comfort agent. Well, already he's showing us why. He's like single-handedly locking down the A site better than what we've seen from Cyphers.
Yeah, so the thing about allowing Hip to play the solo side is that he's so solid individually, but then he has the abilities that can completely shut this down as well whenever his enemies do start to push on up. That was a really good power. Oh, Nip
Right on the edge. He wanted to put a turret down. He wanted some extra information, but Bonk were already up close and personal. Kree's got to be oh so careful. He's playing off the side. He's starting to spam through, but plenty more shots coming out towards him. He takes a bit more damage. The spike will go down. It's not going to be a problem here for the side of Bonk. 4v3, and NiP do have a chance of it. Virov's trying to get himself some extra information, but using that Odin in a position like this, maybe he can get some spam through. Maybe he can try and make that work. But instead, some bullets just come flying back towards him. They do have the jet ult, but maybe not worth popping considering the time that's already been taken here. NiP would need to get one kill right now.
Still going for it. They're rushing in, looking for the kill. This is starting to work out. The classic fight up close. Not quite working out in their favor, though. NiP should be down and out of this one. Fearoth in the spray, but he had no way to get out in time.
Safe. He continues to impress me over and over again. This man, he delivered yesterday, and he's picking up kills like that. Now he's up on the Sage for this fight. We saw him on the Jet yesterday. It was on Haven we saw him on the Jet, right? That was where he played really well.
Yeah, I think so.
Just individually, like everyone was hyped up about Yassine and Ziz, but Safe for me is really starting to just come into his own within this team.
Yeah, Safe has just been so solid for Bonk. He's a player that's stepped up throughout this tournament, throughout the past couple of weeks of Bonk play. I think towards the start, I wasn't really looking at him as the one that I expected to do a lot. Although that said, I haven't gotten to cast a lot of Bonk's games. Typically, they obviously have been failing to get into the tournaments themselves, making it through open qualifiers to either the finals or semifinals respectively, and then falling. And so it's great to see them actually in a tournament and what they can do when they get to this stage. They've already overthrown a couple of good teams, made it further than Liquid, which is huge. And now in a spot where, you know, NiP, it's a big head to claim considering the form that they're on. 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't say the same thing, but they've definitely woken up into their playstyle since Killjoy's come through. Look at the ults they've got for the retake on this. So obviously NiP cannot contest the A site. This is going to go to Bonk. But I'm interested to see, I feel like this is where Hip deploys his lockdown. I'm probably in towards Garden. If you can get into the corner there with some backup, you can clear out that whole site.
If Yassine is able to hold on to this, though, and push from rafters, it's going to be a huge problem for him. Instantly, the ult's going to be used. The ult's going out as well from Yassine. He lands himself the first one. He may be low on health, but he can back away here. Oh, Locker missing the knives again. He's one of the most unluckiest players when it comes to dropping his ult. Oh no, he's detained. Bonk's just trying to hide away. Nipper on the hunt for him. It's an easy kill for them to find. But the spike is already ticking a fair bit here. Yassine tries to line them up, but he actually forced one player straight off it. Kree looking to control, but it's not going to work out. They have to run away. Lots of players dying. Only Yassine. Oh, he even goes down as well. It catches him at the very end. He thought he got away, but then it just kept on chasing. But what a round. So much was committed. The Jet ult and the Killjoy ult from NiP, and it still wasn't enough for them to push into it. Yassine, he went up high on the rafters, wanting to push forward, and he got so much with that.
Yeah. Oh, he did. The fact that he was able to find that kill really just thinned out the numbers of NiP on the retake. You saw Hip's lockdown usage, and you saw everybody being pushed off the site, but they make that rotate around, holding the short position on mid, and two players outside of long, obviously just basically sacrificing Bonker because he was just in a terrible spot. But he still managed to find a kill, get down below, delay them a little bit longer. And obviously, when it comes down to Killjoy's ultimate, it might seem super overpowered, but really, the reason it is, when it comes down to matchmaking and some lower level teams, is because it makes you change your playstyle immediately. The game plan has to adapt to it straight away. If you leave it unchecked, if you don't push and destroy it or fall back and get some good setups outside of that range, you're going to lose the round. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle versus it, especially in the likes of matchmaking, because decision making isn't exactly, you know, the #1 priority there.
Now, one thing that's been interesting when it comes to Ascent, at the beginning it was very attack focused, but we've been seeing in pro games more and more defense side. So for me and with NiP, they need to start picking up a few more rounds here. They need to start battling back. Fearl's trying to get the extra information. He knows at least one player's in the site. Oh, he's going to try and get it spammed up, but Safe is ready and waiting. Bonk just stroll on into the B site. They make it look so easy. Lucker's hoping to find an opening pick of some sort, but with that Cypher ult going down, all their positions are known. Safe's just landed the shots consistently here. Doesn't matter if he's the Sage or the Jet, and he's just going on the hunt now. The confidence, he just needs one more kill to get his ult into play. Woohoo, that was close on Decree as well. Smoke or no smoke, he sees through it. Hip though, that's an easy one to find. He'll just chill, wait it out. But now they've got to try and hide and save onto these weapons. I kind of like how the fact that Hip can just play off this, and if they do want to try and push him, he can be ready for it. Because they can just wait and try and hold him in position. This is what they want to do, and while it spike blows up, they might die to it.
And just make it as costly as possible. But I agree with you, definitely. NiP need to get back up on the board. You're talking 5-4. It's obviously a very tight game, but they want to be walking out with a 7-5 lead, at least tying up on that 6-6. And so it's time to really start stepping it up. Here's the... You seen, actually, I want to mention over towards the B side, he had really good decision making. When he got hit by the recon, he just hid behind the site.
Yeah.
So there was a wall and the boxes between him. Because obviously you realize, okay, recon's just spotted me. That's Fearoth. That's an Odin. I can't exactly push him because he's going to spray me through the wall. So he just takes cover behind as many walls as possible and lets his teammate hold it with an operator. Really good decision making.
Yeah, how many times do we see a player gets a little bit over-aggressive when you're going up against Odin like that? You can just sit there and chime away. NiP going for this early mid-aggression, but for now, Bonk, they're not even close to it, not even focused near it.
Look at the rotate, fully rotated towards the A site.
Yeah.
This is a very big gamble, a very big play.
And Bonk don't need to commit with this amount of time left either.
Nope. That's why it's very problematic for them. Like, the fact that they've got middle control is fantastic. But at this stage, those players could have rotated through spawn and be pushing in through B main.
Yeah, Kree's not in an angle where he can see it. Maybe if he can do some damage here. All the time, it's not going to work out for him. He tries to tap away. He's quickly teleporting out as well. He did dink Yassine down to 18 health, but he won't walk away with the kill. Luck is there to try and back him up. There's going to have to be some crisp shots landed.
And look, he's being held, though. Kree's going to walk on through that smoke and be in trouble, but he wins the fight versus this. Really solid control for them. But on the back of that, they should be able to rotate to A. They should be able to stack it up. They've spotted nobody else outside of the B site. And so Bonk need to move. At this point, low time, they've got to commit to it, and they're taking their time still.
It's going to come down to these jewels. Going to come down to this push in. Lucker looking on the edge of it. He's landing the first. Rhymes there as well. A nice lockdown from NiP, and that is absolutely destroying Bonk as they try to push in. They were caught in the choke point. The smokes were down as well. They couldn't see anything. They couldn't get anything done. There was no opportunity for them to find a pick to even try and push on.
So the big problem with Bonk's attack when it comes to playing up against the smokes that are still in play for NiP, obviously Looker is holding them very late into the round. You've got a Sage and a Killjoy to delay that clock massively. When it comes down to crunch time with the 25 seconds left, and smokes come in, you've got to push through them. And they don't have a Phoenix, they don't have a Breach, they don't have Reyna. They have nobody that can flash through unless the Paranoia is online. And that's generally going to be used by that point to already claim a little bit of map control. And even still, doesn't quite work as efficiently as maybe a Breach flash to pull people off from holding that smoke. So not having the likes of the Phoenix and Breach is really, really hurting them when it comes to those kind of push scenarios. You need to see them dealing with the smokes very early on and baiting them out, and at least having more map control than simply pushing through a single choke point with 4 players, because that just isn't going to work out with their composition.
Now Lucker's position here, him and Safe, technically matching off but not quite knowing about it just yet. Safe definitely wants to avoid that Odin spam coming through. Already the door's being closed very early on here as well. I'm definitely not against it, but Lucker, easy shot for him to hit. No chance for a refrag. He's quickly out of there. And I love that. Get the one-man advantage. Fearless, they're spamming away. No problem at all for them to even be concerned. Always these spams now. It's nearly on point.
It's always so scary, Banks, playing up against that Odin, isn't it? You got that player
I just run. I'm not staying there, Mitch. I'm not staying there, mate. When that happens in my games, I'm like, yeah, bye, we'll go A. Bye.
I've seen so many people try to spam back through, and it doesn't work out.
Even if you do have a Vandal or a Phantom, yeah, unless you're just headshotting him, it's not working for you. And it's not working for Bonk at all right now. Luck has found your scene. They're trying to push into B. They've got to look at the time, but it doesn't matter. There's so many NiP players here, but safe. Aaron, they believe they can make something work here. Spike's going to be planted just in the nick of time. Good camera position from Aaron, trying to give him some extra information here. And Bonk, they've somehow made this viable. If that heal can pop up anytime soon. And Bonka, oh, this is nice. He's got his ult going. Can't quite make it connect, though. Maybe he got some information off of it at least, but I don't know.
Ryan just danced around that. It was like the scene in Ocean's 12 or 13, where he's going around the laser. Oh! This is dangerous. Bonk, they know where he is. He's able to swing, though. Gets so much space over towards this player. Oh! So good. You can't deal with him. He just found a 3K. Has he got time? Yeah.
Yeah, way loads of time.
That's ridiculous.
The problem I have there for Bonka, he went in for the fight, he spammed a lot at the wall, lost more bullets, and then the huge problem is that after that, he didn't go hide. Like, once your teammate died, at that point, you play for time. He could have jumped up and run away. I know it's a very minor detail, but, like, Hip was low on health. Hip was the one under pressure, and you just allowed him to take it one-on-one, basically straight go in. There should never be a situation in a 2v1. Oh, but ultimately, NiP should have had that round from the get-go. They look like they were really well set up for it, considering how many players were towards B.
I like how Hip's changing up positions as well. He was playing A, obviously, a lot of these rounds. Now they're going for a two-man stack early A. You know, the smoke going down. No paranoia just yet. So I presume they're not going to be pushing up on the back of that.
Oh, that's nice for your scene, though.
That's a gorgeous one-way smoke. There's no way they push up on that now.
Nah. Not worth the risk.
I wonder... Oh, no!
So close, yet so far. He tried to make it work, but Firov still goes down at the hands of the grenades. They want to push on this, even with a Spectre in play. Rhyme, though, he's delivering those headshots. He's locking it down. He's got the backup of Lucka. It's non-stop action from NiP from start to finish, and they are wrecking Bonk once again. This A site is in incredible shape when it comes to what NiP deliver here. They're ready and waiting for any time Bonk wants to push in. They've had a lot more success going through mid or going towards B. Every time they hit A, I think they've had one successful or two successful pushes into A with spike plants. Luck has even popped the ult. He's just styling on it for the last round. Like, come on, let's go for it. Challenge me. I dare you.
You don't see that boost all too often either from a Jet. It's there from Looker. Going up on the double up draft. You can see right outside of the A site.
They got the 7-5 that you wanted as well, Mitch.
Yeah, they've managed it. I think now they can be pretty comfortable with the half they've had. Considering the fact that obviously they managed to win that eco round, you probably would have wanted to see 8 up on the board. But contextually, I think 8 would have been better. Well, that's a pretty easy statement to make. 8 would be better than 7, Banks. But just contextually, I would have felt more comfortable having the 8 on the board just because of the fact that they got into the half so early on. But even still, like 7 is perfectly fine. The fact that they recovered it towards the end. For Bonk, I love that push they had in towards the A site. You notice, obviously, the one-way smoke is there. They just jump across it, fire in the showstopper to back left, nade to the right side. At that point, those players have to push out. They caught, I think it was Kree, who was coming out initially. Didn't manage to do that much damage to him, but then obviously Firov was just stuck, completely wrecked by the nade.
Back and forth, but no real casualties in that. Only a slight bit of damage done over to NiP Sage. This is the ultimate round, though, because it's a pistol round that Bonk desperately need to get. They can't allow this to slip too far away. Remember, this is Bonk's map pick. This is what they wanted to start on here. But this is a better looking NiP than we've seen in recent times.
And obviously we mentioned the fact that typically Ascent between these two teams would be considered more of a middle ground. If anything, I would probably favor NiP based on the performances they've had. But, as you said, Banks, the fact that Bonk picked it, obviously you would presume that they spotted something from NiP that they like, that they want to destroy. Now, was that the old NiP, or is that NiP in this tournament playing in with the Killjoy? That's the question that remains to be answered.
And the push coming in, they're going to try and hit A. Safe's going to be smoked out of position. Can't stand strong for too long on this one. And this is going to be a 5-man retake once again. Oh, Lucka. Very sneaky, out in mid, taking some control, and he's going to just push on forward around it. If he can flank him, that's going to be huge. Yassine, though, going to chime in with one of his own. They're going to try and push onto the site, but as the smoke goes down, it's the risk on trying to push it. Ziz has got to find some success here. Rhyme may have just spotted him out. Here's the shots for sure now, trying to get the jumping shots going as well. You still need to be careful. He's tapping up towards it. Those nades are going out. It's doing a lot of damage. Hit falls, and Yassine, he's unstoppable right now. 3 kills straight into it. He's pushed right in. Safe's just going to play off the edge. Both players are locked out, and Yassine, he finally goes down after getting 4. Fearoff's on 6 health. He's all alone. It's not going to work out. Oh, he's on the edge of it. Oh, that's huge. It just about works. Ziz tried to sit on top of it, but the spike will blow, and the pistol round is secured by NiP. My, oh my, Mitch. Seconds. Just seconds in it.
I felt like Ziz should have been sticking that a little bit earlier, actually, because they pushed through, right? They had control in the wall. I don't see how they wouldn't have had time for it. I thought the only way that NiP won that was with Fearoff connecting those shots, but apparently not. Either way, it was very close to him landing them. But for that pistol round to go to NiP, that's devastating for Bonk. Yeah, the likelihood of them getting the same kind of look that NiP did is unbelievably low. Yeah, Bonk made some really weird decisions on their attacking side anti-eco. And NiP, as you can see, they're grouped up. They're pushing through to the B side, albeit, you know, a bit of a scary prospect sometimes when you push into those pistols. And coming up behind, Ziz is able to catch the guard, but you're not going to get any more done. Look, there's the dash.
Uh-oh. Kree saving him. Oh, that got a little bit too close for comfort, Mitch.
Yeah, I didn't see that push coming out, and Looker definitely did not. Got a little bit scared of that one.
All right, now Bonker wants to find some success in here. Wants to see what he can reveal, but if it'll just get destroyed straight away, that'll be the problem for him. NiP have the backline defense in their hands. Already it's ticking down too far. If you can just make them lose all their weapons, I guess that's a positive.
That's what they're doing. They're going to just let time be their biggest ally in this one. Their flank clicks through the smoke. Works like a shotgun, but no kills for them. And this should be easily cleaned up.
Oh, wow.
Spike's going to explode. It's not going to kill him.
Nah, that'd be fine.
9 connected, clean, only one player lost. They can play this as a bonus then. They don't even need to invest up on the final player. Honestly, I think it's probably a ghost to be bought up by Rhyme a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Especially considering the lead.
9-5 now, Mitch. Mitch, you know what I did today as well? I went and bought the skins, man. I got myself the Nebula in there. It's not going to distract me. I finally went and did it.
Now, if I play the same side as you, I'm just going to be staring at your gun.
Staring at me, yeah. Wow. It's so pretty. It's like that that thing from Toy Story, you know, they're like, the claw.
Yeah.
Ooh, Rhyme! You just did him dirty like that. What a shot with the Sheriff.
Great trade afterwards as well by Korea. Yeah. He said he'd go for the Ghost. He went for the Sheriff instead, and a quick headshot later. They're up on a man advantage. NiP. They're playing this as a bonus round, but it doesn't look like it considering that start. Now, they don't need to play very pointed and very fast, but it looks like they're definitely still looking to the A site. There's 2 players here, one towards the short side. With the ability to get out there fast and get the door closed. Now, I don't know if Bonker can even afford to swing wide.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait. That was an operator? They didn't buy an operator, right? We'll have to take a look at the money afterwards, because down the bottom right isn't accurate. It stays the same for every player. But I thought they were playing it with the Marshal. So did they kill an operator there? Did I miss that? What's going on? Oh, no, they didn't buy an operator. Wow, so the player that peaked up second had it. That's heartbreaking. They've lost such a valuable weapon. Look at
Ziz
going in.
Ziz is locking it down, though. This is huge. This is brilliant work. Lucka finally falls. Oh, no, it's Fearoff that went down, but Bonkar's there to clutch it out. Right on the edge of it. Oh. That looked like that was NiP's round from start to finish. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I'm lost.
I cannot agree with that push by Looker. You have the operator in hand. So normally
I thought he was in Fearoff's position. That's what I thought. That would have made more sense.
Exactly. We saw him dash in. I was scratching my head. I'm wondering what he's doing, because when you go in for that aggressive spot with the operator, your teammates have to take the range duel while you're trying to find that trade frag up close. Now, your teammates have got Spectres, Bulldogs. It's not the ideal kind of thing to take a fight versus the likes of a Phantom on range with. Really, you want to have that operator posted back looking for the fights. Now, obviously, with the Jet, that's the player that can push in. In that case, I'd rather Looker just gives that operator to one of his teammates and picks up the Spectre, still goes in for that blitzy fast play that Jet's supposed to. But on a round like that, if that's your strategy, sending your most valuable ranged weapon for the close range fight, it just doesn't weigh up.
You just saw that position Safe was taken with the operator. I'm not against it, but that's why I'm against it. Because if he took the shot, right, he's not the Jet anymore. He can't just back away and dash out of there. He's stuck, and you've lost your Sage straight into this. You can't go down a man early at this point, right? Especially losing your operator player. Your scene's going to have to put in some work if they do want to try and push on to A. If he gets left unchecked, or Ziz trying to play carefully off the side of it. Doesn't want to tap through just yet. It's all about when that smoke fades. It's gone down now. He starts off with the first. Wants to teleport out of there, and he gets away with it. The smoke coming out. He's trying to play in. Oh, he's got to be careful. He does still manage to get it onto Fear off. That spam was coming through. But Lucker's there, and NiP are pushing on in. Yacine looking to get the rotation on go. Lucker out with the knives, but is it going to be enough this time around? He struggled with those knives oh so many times. 2 versus 2. Plant is down. Rhyme's in a really good spot here, especially considering where they're going to attack from.
There's the operator. Oh, Rhyme's good for the trade. This should be an easy peasy. Look at Bonker's HP. He's got 27 health remaining. Had to be even careful of the blast. Oh, don't right click this, Looker. We know what you're like with the right clicks. He's coming up close. Somehow his accuracy goes to 0. Like, I think Looker genuinely has the worst RNG in this game when it comes to right-clicking knives. Even with 27 HP on Bonker, I don't think he'd get that kill. But luckily, Rhyme is there to help out. That's why we always see him go close and we're like, just left-click, you always hit the headshot. Right-click, you hit the ankle.
So it's so funny, like, right-click is okay at a certain distance, but left-click is just so much better when you're rocking the Jet like that.
Feels beautiful, it really does. Especially the in-air accuracy. I was talking to some people recently. So I was filming a show out in Ireland here, and these guys have played a decent amount. They're League of Legends players, mostly the production guys, and we were just talking about Jet. They didn't realize it was 100% accurate in the air, so they'd been like waiting till they're standing still with the knives out. It's like, no, that's the whole benefit is that you fly up and go, quick headshot. Gorgeous play. I also noticed Fearoth is playing with the Odin a lot on the attacking side, which is like, I know I said before, like I was joking around going like, oh, it's a troll weapon, because obviously in Counter-Strike, if you buy a Negev, you're just being mean. But Odin is very viable in this game. Yeah. Defensive side, spamming, it's unreal. Now, on the attacking side, I don't know. Not so much. Like, there are uses for it. If you know an enemy is behind cover, spray it away. Yeah, you're going to wreck them. But you can't really be the first player in. That's for sure. You swinging with an Odin just doesn't work out.
Yeah, very situational. A lot like what we're seeing from Killjoy, though. But like we said, with a player like Hip, just the individual skills, maybe he can make it viable. Kree just easily deals with Safe, despite the little sneak attack coming in. And for Bonk, this is just, it's starting to look unwinnable in every scenario. Maybe the NiP they prepared for on Ascent is no longer that NiP that's showing face. We've seen the improvements, and that's just naughty. Fear of jumping headshot onto Ziz. A-site completely in their control. Lucker's not missing shots like that. Only one more left to find. Bonk are all alone, and maybe at best he can try and grab himself a weapon. He'll have his ult up still, though, which will come into play maybe for the next round. Not so useful here and now. Can hear the footsteps. Oh, that's just unlucky.
We talk about the exits a lot as well, right? So when you've got a classic and it's a 1v5, likelihood of you finding a duel very, very low. Obviously, he was just trying to tuck away and see if he could save it through. But when you have your ultimate up as well, it's a small thing, but it's something that coming from the other FPS titles maybe you wouldn't be so familiar with. In like, you're going, oh, well, he has a pistol and he gets to save it till the next round. He'll have the same pistol next round, so why not just go for the exits, right? And it's like, yeah, well, in a way, but also you're giving your enemies an ult point. And if your ultimate's already online, you don't get any benefit from it. So it can be a little bit dangerous to play those. Now, considering the amount that were already online for NiP, it wasn't the biggest of deals, but in some scenarios it can be pretty big. Look at the shock dart. That's big damage done. 2 players almost dead from it.
All he needs there now is Yacine to come on over and drop an 8 in. Sadly, that's not going to be the case. You've seen he's starting to rotate in, but it already looks like we're going to see them coming in. Oh, it's not working out. Rhymes up high. Bonker's ult absolutely useless in that. Yassine does drop the blast back out. That's going to at least net him 1 kill. For now, Yassine, they're lining up for him. Nade's going up high. Is it going to be enough here? Hip ducks away. Doesn't want to stay and fight into this. Still now, we'll go back and get the spike down, but this will allow Bonk a bit of time to reposition. Kree, he's going to be the point man, though. Look at the positioning. Being very cautious of the flank coming in. Fearoff goes down, but it's a 1-for-1 trade out. Still, though, it's in favor for the Bonk boys. As Ziz wants to cause a bit of a problem here. Kree goes down. This is their time to strike. It's all on Hip to try and clutch this out. He popped his ult already in this round, but it's not going to work out for him. It may come down to the 1v1 in the end, but Ziz will take it. A 7th round on the board, but still such a long way to go here for Bonk.
A lot about that round interested me. Hip's positioning of the lockdown was in a spot where I'm pretty sure they could wallbang it. They would have had to be out in the open still in the alleyway. And I think he was willing to make that sacrifice that, okay, you can destroy that. But as you do, as you stand in the position to destroy it and get that lineup, my teammates are going to swing and they're going to kill you. So they had a choice to either commit to it or fall back on site and still look to just hold them off with the aim duels before lockdown came into play. Obviously, losing the fights before it ever came through, no one was detained. They were all outside of the site, and the retake still managing to work out for them. But it was an interesting small detail because normally you will see a much more passive player. I think instinctively whenever you put that lockdown in play. But I feel almost like they were trying to bait it out. Seems like someone's disconnected over on the NiP side. Is there they've called a pause, or maybe it's just a tactical pause as well, though.
Yeah, that's one thing we've touched on this before, but you don't see that many tactical pauses in Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
And generally we go through the tech pauses. Yeah, that's normal stuff that can happen. But tactical side of things, we don't see all that often. And for me, sometimes you need it even just to like I see the smart one. When you're really far ahead and they start to win some rounds together, just call a timeout, calm it all down, take control of comms, and then just move on forward like you were.
I think especially in Valorant, it's important to have those tactical timeouts because there's so many moving parts. And if you think about any other game where the utility is like a shared pool that anybody can have versus in Valorant, it's very predictable what, like if you know, for example, that there's a Sova and an Omen playing the B site, well, you know what they can do, right? It's not like they all have one piece of each utility. They can slow you down in the same way multiple times. They can only do certain things, whatever their agents allow. So if you figure out where those players are playing, you can start to get a read on how to bait that specific utility out early round. And I think that's something that a lot of teams are doing. But yeah, in terms of tactical timeouts, we're not seeing nearly as many as you would expect. I expect that to change as time goes on as well, and teams start to I suppose become more predictable in that like a more concrete meta develops, then it will become easier to realize when someone's straying from that and get those tac timeouts in. Also, the walls are still up, just for anyone wondering, because this happened to us before. Remember when you call a tac pause during this phase, only on spectator the walls disappear. And I remember we were like, wait, can they just push up? What's happening?
yeah, run on forward. Well, what we should remind everyone while we're here and waiting for the game to kick on is that if you guys at home might want to win 10,500 Valorant points and grab some 6 skins in-game for yourself, type ! giveaway, just type it once, follow the link through, and enter away. Good luck, have fun, and all that good stuff. As we'll wait for everyone to be in a good position and want to get themselves back into this game starting off. And that's exactly what's going to happen right now. Azim throws out the bomb, but it won't go boom this time.
So you're seeing there the Fearoff's play with the Odin. Early on, he's just spamming through, trying to deny Bonker the ability to make the same play he was having a couple of times. Really, Fearoff is the one player that I'm trying to just scan over. I'm pretty sure more than anybody else plays with the Odin. Certainly on Ascent. Obviously, it's very map dependent. You're not going to see it nearly as much on the likes of Split as you are on Ascent, because there's just so many walls to wallbang on this map, especially towards the B site.
Oh, you're seeing. Can he get anything done from this position? He's not going to be forced out just yet. Smoke right down in front of him. going to come down to the timing. No matter where NiP go, there's something being placed in front of him. Having to slow it down quite massively here. Safe has to hit the shot, and he does as the paranoia goes out. He's tagged up quite heavily. Should be able to heal himself up though either way. Ziz looking to control it, but he's only good for one. Yassine is there, and even with the Spectre, he's able to find the kills. Pushing on forward, he's hungry for it, but Rhyme, razor sharp aim. He followed him perfectly through that, but Aaron said, "Oh, thanks for the wall. I'll just catch you with your pants down."
Yeah, luckily he didn't go to commit for the res. That was obviously the intention, but had you done that, you realize immediately, like, I see him up on top of that wall, and I'm like, oh, you're just dead. He's going to jump up on it and spray you on 20 HP. No way you get out. I think especially with the health that he had left, rezzing up when you've got 20 health is never really a good idea, because a single piece of utility coming through to kill you, and that player is just exposed then, getting rezzed the whole time, so it's not really going to work out a lot of the time. Interesting conversation I was having, actually, Banks, with some of the people that are running these stats websites, is like, in terms of, you know, in Counter-Strike we have a 1vx statistic, so you win a clutch. If a Sage is in a 1 versus 2 and then rezzes a teammate and they win the round, is that a 1vx? It's a very, very deep philosophical question. Here's the pistol, so close though, and there's no question about that. The opening duel goes to NiP. They're looking to trade it out. Aaron, oh, he could be catching them over towards the house, waiting to try and catch them as they come on out. They haven't dealt with them just yet, but now they've spotted them. Pistol should overwhelm, and through the smoke they do.
Pistol power coming out from NiP. They're getting away with murder here. Something they really shouldn't have been able to have success with. The ult is deployed by Yassine, but it doesn't work out. Kree's trying to sneak in. Now it's the 1v1. Luckily, he's got the revive in play, but so much is being spent here from Bonk in a round where it was just pistols. NiP, how are they getting these rounds? Oh, fear off. Oh, no. Right on the edge of it. Yassine expects it. It will be the round for Bonk, but honestly, I'm just impressed that NiP even managed to get that far.
Yeah, they did a lot of damage, right? Just having the pistols in play. Fair play. Now, with so much left to play with, they've got a lockdown and a res at the moment. I think that's about it. It's very faded for me up the top, but yeah, there you go. I like that so much more. Like, shout out to Riot for that update, because when it was just the, like, I don't know, the X with the circle, and so I suppose like a tilted crosshair on them, it was so hard to see. When it was like a 4 versus 3 or something, you're like, it's a 4, is it 4v3? But yeah, it's much easier now to tell. By the way, yeah, so that's a pretty interesting question though, isn't it, about the 1vx situation, when you're trying to figure out, like, and what if they die and the other player then 1v2 wins it? Is that then 2 1vx's or 1 1v? There's so much to think about in that that aspect of it. Not all as straightforward as what we're used to. Oh, at the moment we're looking in towards a push on the B side. It's gone very successfully on the back of the lockdown in play. You can see that NiP have got all the control in there. That's the benefit of lockdown, but you still have to hold down on the post plants, and there's so much utility left for Bonk to play with. As they push on out, you're seeing no kills immediately, but Ziz able to pick up one. And they're grouped up. They've cleared out all the immediate control, so it's only the site they've got to worry about now.
I know exactly where you are.
Oh. NiP coming back with the guns. It's still close. Still possible here for Bonk. Spots out the first player, but Fear Off challenging long range with it as well. Fear Off is a monster with this Odin in hand, man. 12th round secured. It's map point. And this could be NiP taking Bonk's pick. After this, Mitch will be moving on to Bind, which was picked by NiP. NiP looking for a quick 2-0. Want to have their time for, like, just chilling, right? And going, cool, yeah. we'll watch the next match go down. We'll wait for the grand finals to come in. So and this is a bounce back, especially what we spoke about from the last Ignition Series events, where NiP were not looking so hot.
And Bind is a pretty terrible map for Bonk. Like, we saw them play NiP on it, and it was a 13-4 loss, a 13-5 loss.
Oh, look
as well. This is a little bit dangerous, but look, he gets away. He's able to get healed up as well, took in the corner. And obviously, when you've got those knives in play, that can bridge the gap in a lot of fights. But honestly, I would feel very scared if I was Bonk moving on over to the next map. This is where, obviously, that 13-0 came through for NiP up against Big. And they've been looking good this tournament.
There's one thing I want to point out, Mitch, is we were talking about tactical. At least within this tournament, there is no tactical pauses allowed, only technical. So that makes sense, at least within this tournament. But we've been a part of some tournaments that have allowed tactical, and they've still not been used. So I guess a lot of teams just run and gun, and they deal with it in the start time before the round. Safe. Easy lineup for him to get the first one. Puts the slowdown straight away, forces out the revive from NiP there, which means they want to close this game out right here and now. Already only 40 seconds to go, so them backing away from B, unless they go through mid, and they're just generally going to have to hit A because of the timing.
Caught one.
Well, this should be an easy A push. The full rotates come through, but look at that big flank coming in. Yassine should be able to catch a free kill towards top mid. Bottom mid, excuse me. Always going to make that mistake. But Ryan does fall. NiP overrun the site, but that's a trade that I suppose they're happy to make. Walker trying to get a little bit further on the board, jumping up, but he runs out of knives now. Yassine still going, my God.
He's just wrecking them. They're running up into him, and they can't do anything about it. Safe delivering onto Lucka and Bonk. They're not going down without a fight. They keep 5 alive. They get the retake in a perfect fashion. A lot of that being done by Yassine on the flank. 12-10 and Bonk. They're looking to force NiP out into overtime if it's possible. Taking a look at the money is going to be quite interesting as well. So, yeah, still pretty damn good for NiP. It's a bit up and down on different players, but we can get some drops over either way, especially with Fearoff just constantly going in for the Odin, right? It's not exactly the most expensive way for it to go down.
That still costs a pretty buck, right? It's a big old weapon. Takes a lot out of your economy, but the fact that he's getting a lot done with it when it comes down to spamming and pulling these players off the angles, that's really what... Whoa, look at Hip. Oh, no, Aaron. He's missed it. It's a very hard cage to hit. Oh, hello, Hip, and goodbye, Hip. Well, he came into this round with a stinger, and that one definitely stung. But look at the TP up behind. Kree's not able to find a damn thing because Bonker comes through, and he's saying, hey, Fearith, I like your weapon. I'm going to use it a little bit. Spraying on through the boxes, taking a kill, and putting NiP behind by 2.
Bonk trying to make it work, but Fearoff, he wants to fight up into this one. Gets away with at least 1 kill with it. Safe going down is quite a big scalp to take. Bonker trying to play a bit of his own game here. Spam coming through. Does him and Fearoff just have a challenge? I'm down for it. Why not? Try spam each other back. Who's going to try win that one? The NiP still setting up and trying to hit onto B. Great nade coming out from Yassine. Look at the damage done. Fearoff just about escapes there. He'll be healed up, but they're taking out the abilities on a big way.
See, the Killjoy turret's still up. Watching their back is huge as well. Even though Hip is dead, they've just got that constant sentry, making sure that their back is locked down. That's why I love Killjoy so much, and I feel like on attack, sure, she might not bring the most value in some scenarios, but is definitely very useful there. Look at this sneaky play. The wall that was in, they're going to go through for the recon in the back of the site. Boathouse now going to be cleared out. They know they don't need to worry about it, and Bonker just swaps positions. He's going to play for the spams himself, and he drops the spike. 12 seconds left. Runs out of ammo, though. Can't keep up the spray. Now the plant coming through. This is dangerous. They're going to run out of time, but it has to be stuck on right now. It's a 2 versus 1. Oh, come off it.
What?
Why?
Oh, Lucka. Oh, Lucka. I guess he just thought they're going to push him straight away, but damn, that's so unlucky. He could have got the spike down. He had 1 second left within it. And now that's an 11th round secured for Bonk. They're coming back on their defensive side.
That was ludicrous. That was absolutely ludicrous. I have no idea what that was, Banks. I guess, yeah, he thought they'd both push him from the same angle and he could just spray them down, but yeah, maybe not quite what they envisioned. 12-11. Another technical pause coming through. Look at, oh man, look at the buy for NiP though. Those weapons are so tough.
This is troublesome for him.
Never mind the Odin, you can't afford a Vandal or a Phantom even at this stage. Like, going down to Stingers. Oh, there's that pistol round play from Kree. It was so
Sneaky
good.
Kree.
Sneaky beaky.
Imagine if he landed the headshot onto Safe in that situation. You know, just one tap. Oh. The back and forth we had on these first couple of rounds, that's the difference maker of why NiP's still here.
I mean, the reality is NiP got insanely lucky with the punishment they were able to have up against Bonk in the early first half.
Yeah.
At this stage, you can see that Bonk very well could have been walking out of this with the win had they just not have completely whiffed the second round of the game. Now it's going to be that really, really tight comeback, 12-11. They need to win this round, but they're showing up, and you can really see their never give up attitude, right? The positivity that's definitely in play for them. Yassine was talking about how they always just sit there, happy and calms, keep the mood up. This was that play right there. So we talked about it a little bit, but Bonker kind of half committed to the fight, and that caused his teammate to swing. Then he was like left in the open. His teammate swung to try and take the 2v1 fight, but Bonker wasn't wide enough, hadn't fully committed. So it was a 1v1, and then Bonker had nowhere to go. It's really like, it's those small little things, round 2, that 2v1 as well, where you can see the communication isn't quite there. And they've had a long time together as a team, so I really want to see that improved on. But that is something that you can improve, right? Just watching back through the VODs, you'll get there.
Now, one thing, Mitch, going into this round, is despite the lack of weaponry here for NiP, we saw the success they've had when they've had lack of weaponry. When they had the pistols, they've managed to get in. And once again, they're going to be in the A site, so it's going to be down to the retake coming out here. Oh, Yassine with his ult down. He'll walk away with the kill onto Rhyme. Wants to put his boom bot down, but it's not going to go out just yet. He's going to hold on to it for now. He's delayed the spike plant going in, but Fearov's health is incredibly low. They don't have a Sage to play with, and Yassine is not stopping. He's pushing on forward. He's looking to deliver more damage. He's picking up all the kills for now. 2 more players to find. Bonker's there to seal the deal, and there's only HIP remaining. He's trying to flank, but how much can he get done? He's going to spray a couple of them. Going to try and play it smart with the abilities, but is it even going to be enough? They're ready and waiting for him, but HIP, how many challenges do they want to give him? It's not going to work out. We're going to overtime, and HIP's flank doesn't pay off. Bonk, they come back in an incredible style here.
That nano swarm could have been huge if it was a little bit deeper, maybe throw it over the wall. Obviously, that's not something you will mess around with lineups for all too often, but had he have had that have landed, the round could have been his because he had one more in the reserve. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out, and NiP have to feel gutted. You know, they got the advantages coming into this first half. It started to build up in their favor, and now things have kind of spiraled out of control. Tied up on overtime, especially when you're the team. This is a mental aspect of the game, Banks, I want to ask you about. Overtime obviously means you've both done equally as well, right? You're literally the halves have gone the same. But if you're at 12-8, 12-7, and you fail to close out the game, I feel like that always affects your mentality much more. And if you're the team that's managed to come back and hit the overtime, you're hyped up.
Rhyme's already gone down, though. Not the start the NiP would have wanted. You've been on the receiving end. Over and over again. Lucker needs to pull up something huge, but it's not going to work out. The shock dart on top of the grenades. Bonk, they've got huge momentum, and they are just running with it. Running straight over the hopes and dreams of NiP, who look like they had this map secured. Safe still on the hunt, looking for more. NiP don't even know where they're going to commit to. There's still 1 minute left on the clock.
They've got lots of time on Bonk, as you said, 1 minute. But they don't want to waste it. They're not going to let that clock run down. Moving quickly to B. There's 2 players here, though, ready to hold them off. This could be dangerous, Banks. But HIP. Ooh, he wanted to go through it.
Oh, the spam coming out from Fearov. Look at him trying to make it work. It's not working out for the rest of NiP, though. HIP's gone down. Fearov in the back lines. He's doing his best. He's been a god with the Odin, but he's not the god this time around. It's all on Kree. It's 4v1. And he has to go for it, right? He has to try. There's no point of holding back, but the door's already put down. They don't know your position. He's going to take the long way around. Then the spike is already going to be ticking down further. The beep's going off. How many rounds is this from Bonk in a row now? 5?
I think 5 or 6. Yeah, it's been a lot for sure. Look at the ult that's online already. Through it goes. You see not landing it, but he's definitely seen Kree.
6 in a row.
6th. Wow.
Bonk. They said, this is our map. We're going to show you how it's done. They've just picked up the attacking gun round. Now they're gone to the defensive side where they've had the most success.
And just for you guys at home, if you don't know how OT works, obviously it goes 1 round. It's like tennis, right? Whoever goes 2 in the lead first takes the win. If it ties up 13-13, it's first to 15 and so on. You swap over every round. It keeps on swapping back and forth and back and forth. You come in with 5k, so if you buy an operator, you're only going to get light armor and have 100 left to spend on an ability. And when it comes down to ultimates, you get basically 3 away. So if your ultimate is 7 charges, you get 4, and if it's 6, you get 3. So basically, you need those kind of 2 kills and an ult orb or 3k to get your ult online. So we don't tend to see too much ultimate gameplay when it comes down to overtime. It is mostly just about using your base abilities.
Watching here.
Now, I was just talking to Emil
Watching here.
and Doom Bros when it comes to actually looking at the tactical pauses, and they agreed with me. They said on some tournaments, even in the rules, it says no, but then you're allowed to use it. So, like, right now, we're in a bit of a limbo world of it. Having a nice discussion with these guys on Twitter. I'm guessing them as coaches as well, both of them. Emil for Bonk, Doom Bros for FPX. They would 100% be wanting tactical pauses to be in there at some stages, especially when games get close like this. And right now, Bonk have gone down 1 early on, but it's how they try and fight back on this. Aaron's going to have a smoke down put in front of him, and he's going to play with inside it for now. Slow going out at the same time, but NiP aren't that far forward.
No, they haven't pushed up too much, but they have got bottom mid control. They're blocked out by a smoke for now, but once that fades, there's no one there to stop them. And so pushing forward, and here you go, smoke's faded. Now they go in, they're splitting into the B side, even with players outside of A. This is a very aggressive play. They need to be so careful as they push on through. Safe is behind the smoke, looking for a victim, and there's only 10 seconds left. It's time to push. They haven't dealt with Boathouse. Safe with 1. Boathouse still up. Ziz is able for a kill, and they're shutting them down. No time for a spike plant, and that's going to be it. Bonk have done it.
Bonk managed to take their map pick based on the timing that was left. NiP far too slow. They backed away from A, but they would not live to fight another day. They got handled in the end when they hit match point so much further, so much more in advance there. Bonk, they just said, no, not like this. We've had a great group stage. We had a good quarterfinals game. We're not going out like this. And they managed to make it happen. We're going to buy next as well, Mitch.
That was absolutely massive, Banks. At this point, I think we just crowned Bonk the comeback kings. To be able to continuously pull themselves into these positions. They're down, they're looking out. And we were saying as well how important it was to win this map because the next looks terrible. NiP manhandled them last time they played. And that was an NiP that wasn't on the form that we're seeing from them right now. So when it comes to Bind, I feel like a lot of teams would be in a position where they're sat going, oh man, we've thrown this one away. You know, it's 12-8, 12-7. We needed this. The series is over. Our run's over in the tournament. But these guys, they're always happy. The comms are always positive. They've shown they can do it.
Well, Bonk have definitely shown that they could do it. And now for NiP, they're probably sat there thinking, what on earth? How did we even allow that to happen? We'll take a look at the replays from that game while we continue to talk about the madness that we just saw. Now, the first thing I want to ask you here, Mitch, right, because you were very critical of some of the Killjoy plays we've seen from some of the other players in the tournament so far. Hip, we know as a player individually, is super good.
Yeah.
But how did you find his Killjoy? Were you more pleased with his way of utilizing it?
100%. I'm down with how Hip was playing Killjoy in this one. So ultimate usage, we saw it in B main when he puts it down in a position where he's basically begging them to spam it so his teammates can trade. Like, that's a different way to use lockdown. You're not just saying, oh well, I'm going to push them off the site and that's what I'm doing. No, you're actually trying to set your teammates up with it, which is just as good as really stunning those players. You look at how he's using his nano swarm to try and clear angles, basically using them as molotovs, and that's what a lot of Killjoy players have just been neglecting completely. Is that nano swarm, if you use it correctly, you can use it like a raise nade to clear out corners and throw your players off. He tried to deny a defuse, and if it was, I reckon in a month you'll see him actually do a lot more, have a lot more success with this agent, because it just came down to knowing the lineups a little bit more on these vague positions like A heaven, getting it onto that default plant. I don't expect him to know that off the bat, but in a month he'll probably have messed, actually probably after this game he'll have messed around and figured it out. So these are the things that you'll pick up over time, and then Killjoy can be really effective.
I like how you said a month, right? That's probably the timing. We need to get these right, but for these players, right, definitely they'll be on top of it a bit earlier. This round, oh my god, Fearov may have not landed the shots, but time was on his side in that one.
And when I say I'm on this wall, it's kind of not just for that angle. Obviously, it's for every obscure angle in the game. You know, when you're up in a heaven and you've planted underneath, you can bounce it off things to get under and all that sort of stuff. But I love this as well. Bonker, we saw him take a bit before pulling out the Odin. I think that was down to money. Obviously, investing into the Odin it's a little bit more expensive, and it's going to cost you in the long run if you're pulling it out again and again. And you saw there, obviously, eventually coming into the late stage of the game, he pulled it out and started to really come back into wall bangs and give Fearoth a taste of his own medicine. Here's the lineup I'm talking about. I don't know exactly. If it was a little higher, it might still have fallen short. I think he needed to throw it over the wall to his right, and he could have actually denied it, and maybe the second one would have won the round. It's obviously not something I expect him to be able to do, but I think in a month, you'll see him hit those consistently.
This last round. Oh, no. Fearoth just running at Bonker as well. Just all hopes were taken away. The timer's running down. 14-12. We got overtime on the first map between these two guys. Crazy stuff for us to kick it off with here in the semi-finals game. But Bonk, although it was their map pick, we thought, yeah, they'd have a plan, but we know NiP are more than capable when it comes to Ascent. The problem is the Ascent we've seen from NiP, either recent times in previous tournaments, was when NiP were going through their development phase, right? They were changing things up a bit. So we're going to have to wait and see how Bind goes down. Can Bonk get some revenge for last time, I guess?
See, the thing for me about how NiP just played that one there, obviously, as I said, I liked Hip on the Killjoy, but he didn't have a great game. Certainly not by the standards that we normally see from Hip. He finished out bottom of the scoreboard, 16 kills, close to bottom server, and that's not something you see all too often. Now, whether that's down to the Killjoy itself, I really don't think it is. I think he was just having a hard time dealing with everything that was being pulled out over on Bonk. You know, you can often look at these games and say, oh, well, he had a bad game, that's why they lost, but it's more so, Yassine was dominating. Safe was coming through with middle of the line performance from him, but still pretty damn good overall. The opening duels, especially.
The impact that Safe has, that's what I'm looking at, man. Like, for me, we see Yassine, we see Ziz, they're fragging out. But when it comes to Safe, this is why I've had keen eyes on what he's been able to deliver so far throughout this tournament. Is because he's the impact player. He's the one that can be the game changer. I'm pretty happy I said that when we were coming into this one, because he's continuing to make it work.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Ziz was another player who got involved in a lot of early duels. He was 4 for 0 in opening fights. So he was constantly giving them that advantage up over on the Omen towards the B site. Loved watching him play. And really the win conditions that we highlighted for NiP were Hip and Kree. And the two of them, they had a really rough game. Not to the extent that you'd say it was horrendous from them, but they're not on their normal form. And it's something that we need to see. Rhyme stepped up to take that place a little bit, but not quite enough.
Sometimes it isn't quite enough, right? Sometimes you get there, you get so close. But I think the thing that's going to be most painful here for NiP is just looking that we had multiple rounds to try and close that out. We've even had a round where they almost won with pistols. We're going to come back to that round. They ran through towards B. They were dominating Bonk. They caught them completely off guard. Had they got that round, we'd be looking at a whole different scenario. It would have been like, what, 13-9, I think?
Yeah, could well have been. And the other side of it as well is that Safe was playing on the Sage. And when we see him come through, obviously, as I said, on Split, he's a Viper, much love. But coming out on Jet, that's where he's really able to deliver the damage. And having a good game when he has to take that more passive approach. Sure, he overextended a little bit in a couple of the rounds. But I mean, look, he's a Jet at heart. So I guess those tendencies creep in sometimes. But when he comes back onto the Jet, I'm scared. I'm actually genuinely starting to fear a little bit for what NiP are going to be able to do.
Now, Mitch, the thing here for me is that I want one thing to make sure that happens real soon. Bonk gets picked up by an organization, so some of their players don't get picked and taken into other teams. Because I'm enjoying what I'm seeing from these guys as a 5-man. You can see the potentials there. Okay, you've looked at a couple of games now where Bonkar himself and Aaron have not had like great individual performances, but they have good supportive elements, right? We can see what they're doing within the server. I think that's the difference when we're looking at a game like Valorant. A lot of people are still focused in quite highly on just the number of kills for it, where some people, you are almost a sacrificial lamb in some roles, right? You need to be able to get some kills. Of course, okay, killing is part of the game, but if you're using your abilities right, if you're providing the information for your superstars to show up, a lot of like what we see from the FPX side, that's kind of where you wanted to look at the kind of time to shine mentality.
Yeah, obviously, like, you think back to that game, Yassine is going to be the one that stands out to you probably the most. He had so much impact when it came down to these duels, like, great setups when it came to Raze. How many nade kills did you see from him, even in obscure angles, like outside of A site, up on top of the boxes? He was able to land a nade perfectly there and kill a player. So, yeah, those are the ones that are going to stand out. The ones consistently delivering the duels. No one ever sits there, like, put it in a Counter-Strike analogy for people that are more familiar with that. No one's going to sit there and go, wow, look at that flashbang. That was great. No, you're going to go, look at the guy that killed 3 people after the flash. Someone has to throw the flash. Someone has to be playing that supportive element.
Oh, yes.
I think a lot of the time it's going to be Cyphers that really take the brunt of that because they're playing side solo. They're playing quite a passive game a lot of the time, and they're going to be overwhelmed. But as long as they can delay their opponents and give their teammates the advantage in a lot of these duels, that's really their job. But sadly, that means that they won't be the ones with 40 kills sometimes and won't get the highlight reels, which is always sad.
Now, despite what you were mentioning, right, Bayern's coming up next, and last time NiP were very confident on it. It's not a great map when it comes to what we've seen from Bonk. But do you think what we've seen from Bonk, that there's a chance of it? Do you see enough improvement from previous games, from previous tournaments for them to say, maybe we can turn it over and get a 2-0 here? Or do you just see this being like we're likely going to a third?
I'm not too sure. So I've seen a lot of improvement from Bonk over time. We all have. Look, they're here. They're no longer in open qualifier finals. And we've seen for a long time they could have made it through the group stages of events, and they just, due to 1 or 2 games not going their way, didn't. But to give some context on how it went versus NiP last time, 13-10, Bonk won Haven. 13-9, they won Ascent. Bind was a 13-4 win for NiP. It was a stomp. And we saw, like, Safe was on the breach, really didn't find his flow on that one. Bonker struggled on the Sova that he's consistently been playing. I really need to see a different team. And I imagine they put a lot of practice into Bind. Look, there's only 4 maps to scrim on. You're going to have to scrim Bind, unfortunately. I don't think you're going to get around that. But you have to say that NiP are favored on this map, no matter what. Maybe it's not a 13-4, but they should definitely be the ones that take it and bring us to a third.
Now, for all these people in Twitch chat spamming at Fnatic, because I'm guessing that's where you think or want Bonk to go, why don't you go on Twitter and do that? Go and spam Fnatic, tell them to go pick them up, force them into it. We don't know when Fnatic are going to get into it. I believe I read an interview not too long ago. It was saying something about Fnatic will be looking at potentially getting into Valorant going into next year. Obviously, waiting to see what happens throughout the rest of this year. Probably looking at all the team options there are coming into it. But there's a lot of teams right now within Europe that certainly need a pickup, man. That's what I mean. Like, we're in a situation where a lot of these players are grinding. They're working alongside at the moment. They're trying to make themselves known. And we're seeing them regularly get quite far, but there's just not enough support coming out for EU right now. We have to just like do a bit of what FPX did, right? Go and find the Chinese organizations. Just come pick up some more EU teams. Help us out.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is? At the moment, in terms of world ranking, after the way the games have been going, Bonk are 3rd. And like, you look down through it, G2, FPX, then Bonk, Team Liquid, Skade, NiP, Prodigy, looking for org. So that's when we get like around number 8, we run out of organizations. But then you go further down, you go into top 20s, top 30s, there's still organizations there. And I feel like it's a real missed opportunity for some of these orgs to pick up a team cheap. Because if you get Bonk before they even made it to group stages, it's a team that has so much potential.
Wait. Pick up a team cheap. No, so, pay them what they're worth. What are you on about?
100%. Cheap. But here's the thing, right? If you wait till a team starts delivering and winning tournaments to pick them up, you're late to the game. 100%. You got to pick them up when they're in the open qualifier finals and you see the potential. It's like investing in the prodigies early so that you get a better deal, right? It's too late now. Now you're going to have to pay them the big bucks, but they're still worthwhile. Because here they are, delivering against NiP, a team that has so much individual skill, that has massive backing, and they're already 1-0 up. This map ain't going to be good for them. At least on paper, this should be NiP's. But when we come to the 3rd, was it Haven? If I remember correctly?
Yes, yeah.
So I see them as having a big advantage when it comes to Haven, regardless of how this map goes. And I'm surprised to see that they're actually going with the same lineup as previously. Obviously, you'll see that Bonk consistently mix up, and they like to change their lineups. So I'm surprised that they are still doing that, though, going down to the breach on safe. Oh, it's Bonker, actually, that took it. Oh, really mixing it up.
Well, a crazy back and forth at the beginning of this one. Lucas being very careful there. Doesn't want to be taken down by any of the grenade damage coming through. Yassine very low on health, trying to play off the edge of this wall. Needs to be careful when it might pop and disappear, though. I like this from NiP. Push all the way around, go into elbow. Change things up a little bit. They take on Aaron. And now Rhymes on the flank as well. Easily getting it done. Only one more player to find. He runs straight into Bonka, but it's still a 1v2, and he's only got 21 health. NiP should grab this pistol round very comfortably now. Bonk is still putting in work, though. He's looking to try and make it happen. That's not going to be enough. Lucker avoids it. There you go. Still goes down to the 1v1 regardless, but Bonk, he tried to make it work. Not a bad pistol round, but NiP will secure it in a pretty confident fashion. And I was going to say here, Mitch, right, that Bonk may be up 1-0. We've seen what happened last time and NiP were dominant on bind. But for me, anything Bonk can do now in extra rounds, extra damage is a proving point. If Safe can have a really good game here, and you said about what Bonker was playing this over before, they're mixing it up. There's opportunity now for them to play into this. Now, Hip right now, still sticking to Killjoy. Do you think this is just going to be every map now? It's just Killjoy all the way. He's that confident with it.
Yeah, but the looks of it, that's the way Hip's going recently. It's all about the Killjoy. I'm a bit shocked, to be honest, at how they've mixed it up when it comes to agent composition. Like, Ziz is sticking over on the Brimstone, but Safe has come off Breach. I said he didn't really seem comfortable there on an eye test, and evidently he's not, because he's taking over Bonker's usual agent of Sova. Then everything else is sticking down to normality, but that swap up alone is quite confusing.
The push on forward, Aaron hoping to get a chance. Oh, it gets a little bit close. He tries to make it work, but Ryan far too fast. They're trying to play off the shorties, but Sis is already taking a lot of damage. They're just jumping around him. They're making it look very comfortable for NiP. No real problems at all for it for now. And Bonker here, well, that's kind of what you expect to happen. He's at a lot of disadvantages there, not just in weapons, but distance as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see players just swapping up their agent picks. I think it's a shame that obviously Bonker gets that 3k off the bat and they'll lose the pistol round, but here's where they get a chance to answer back. And straight away coming in with the operator play on Safe. Again, I would love to see him play down towards a Jet, and considering they're starting on the defensive side, there's definitely potential for that to come into play. You could avoid the likes of a Breach, but they think the flashes are so valuable. Alongside the Rays, when it comes to attacking, they can actually clear out a lot of angles. What a fight by Safe. Jumps through to the angle, and Looker had no idea what hit him.
Safe up to his old tricks again. This is the battle I wanted to see. This is what gets me excited. The operators going head to head. How much that will come down to overall, we'll find out later on. But at least in this round, Bonk have a good advantage in it. Still looks to be focused on A, but there's plenty of time on the board for NiP. And they're not going to give away any information. No position to be found. Hero's going to go in for the extra information as well. But with Safe being smoked out, they have a good idea of what's going on. Oh, Ziz just keeping himself hidden. No one's going to know he's here just yet. Will it be checked is another thing. A few shots coming forward, and at least Ryan does get tagged up. But Bonk, they're going to have to get on the retake. They have the advantage of no shock darts. That starts off really nice. But Kree with a pistol. He sideswiped him. He's teleported up. They didn't expect it at all.
It doesn't do a lot to him either. He's able to fall down. Good shot. Has the support, the TP for cover. This should be perfect. He saw the barrel. He knows where this player is, and already you can see Aaron doesn't want anything to do with this 1v3 retake. And what you might have spotted as well was Hip put down his bot as well as his nano swarm on the spike itself. So as soon as the players came near, the bot hits them, it makes them vulnerable, so they take double damage, and in the nano swarm he could just manually activate when he gets that sound cue and completely eradicate whoever went for the defuse.
So 3-0 for NiP. You said they were confident last time around anyway, Mitch. You said they had a dominant scoreline. But how dominant can it be this time around? How much confidence could that potentially add here for NiP as well, right? Like, even though you came close to winning the last one, it didn't work out for you, lost it in overtime. If you just bounce back and destroy them again when it comes to bind, then going into Haven, where I just look at Haven a 50-50 for everyone, because I don't see one team that's just like, yeah, we wreck everyone on Haven every time, you know?
Yeah, no, I think I'm definitely with you on that one. And even when it comes down to attack defensive side, it tends to feel at least very 50-50. I'm trying to get the stats here. It's actually been quite attack-sided in this tournament, at least. But again, we've had some... I feel like we've had a decent amount of close games as well. So I wouldn't be too scared about saying, yeah, I probably realistically should favor the attacking side, considering the 3 lanes of attack and how big the map is. It's quite difficult to defend. But Yeah, for most teams, it does tend to be a bit of a mid-ground, bit of a 50-50. Oh, the ult. Not one.
Bonker trying to put that to work, but not much of an opportunity when you got the bucket at that kind of range. Safe just running away, and rightly so. 5v2 with the spike down, and at this point, is this where you're saying, Mitch, like this is where you just want to see him hide away, not fight it out? If they can get a weapon, great, but ultimately they don't want to give away an ult orb, which is exactly what just happened there.
Kree's got his ult online now, so at least anything else that he finds, it's not a big deal. But yeah, so because nobody on Bonk has ults in play, I don't mind if they do want to play exits. It's really when you've got your ultimate up that playing an exit doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Is realistically, if you die and you don't find any kills, you're going to give them an ultimate charge. You're not going to get any reward for it. And if you do get a frag, even saving the weapon is going to be quite difficult. You'll have money for the next round. And the economy doesn't play quite as punishing a role whenever you're on weaker buys. Although this one definitely has. And Safe decides to play that one safe. Staying nice and passive. Putting it up 4-0 for NiP. And Bonk, they need to start answering up. You can see already the double operator setup comes through. It's a semi-desperation. Definitely something that is viable. We don't see it too much on Bind.
I do love it though on Bind if you play it, say, like up in heaven or towards bathrooms, and then you can cover off short as well, and then you play one a bit more aggressive on B long.
I think a limiting factor for them not having a jet is some of those aggressive fights, though. The fact that they don't have easy escapism on them. You have to commit some utility, like, say, a flash from Breach, to be ready to fire through if they do get into trouble.
So NiP, for now, not going to push on the information they have. Oh, Bonker expects him to be there. Kree gets slapped to start off with. Safe's onto Lucker as well. Once again, winning that duel. Safe being 2 for 2 against Lucker in the operator fights. Just in the nick of time. Now Bonk needs to hold on to this lead. They need to also keep it 5 alive. I need to see this being a very confident victory. Oh, a big miss coming out there from Safe, though.
Yeah, he knew Hip was coming as well. What was curious about that opening fight, Kree saw there, they had the communication, obviously, because of the drone, that there were 2 players in hookah. Kree popped his paranoia, then teleports through to the left side, but completely whiffed the shots onto the player behind the box, even though they knew he was there. That fight going Bonk's way just sets them up massively for success. Rhymes waiting for someone to come on out of hookah. They've cleared it out now with his teammate already coming through. You got to be obviously worried about anyone in towards the spawn peeking them. A heavy commitment to the ultimate. This should allow them to get that spike planted and get a little bit of a setup as well, which they need. Look at this though. Yassine goes right on through. One on the board, another almost. But he's lit up Hip. And although they've managed to detain one player, it's a 4 versus 1.
Poor Safe. He's just like, come on, let me go.
Hip tried. He really did. He's already deployed his nano swarm at this point. They're going to just go in for it, and they're going to get that defused nice and easy. I respect
finally a round, and it's a pretty convincing round. I think that's the main thing you got to see here from Bonk. I said I would have liked 5 alive, 4 or 5. It makes perfect sense. It's just keeping your weapons, keeping yourselves high up, still keeping the double operator setup, which is very important for these guys right now, because that's off the back of the win they've just got. They need to just push NiP back as much as possible here. And Hip needs to find his form, though. We've seen so many amazing rounds from Lucker over the events, Mitch. Time and time again when it comes to this map. If he does start to come online, it's going to be a big problem for him.
Yeah, he is on his handicap, though, playing
there we go.
Sage, but evidently not a problem for him.
2 for 1, but this time Safe pushed up into him.
Aaron's just going to fall back. Obviously, without any Sage to go for that res. Whoa, that was a late peek by Aaron. Swung right into Ryan. There was almost a second player around the corner as well. They know about the flank. They've heard the TP. And this one isn't looking good for Bonk. The ultimates are online. Maybe the showstopper to be popped. Bonker's just holding on to his ultimate, not yet deploying it. I don't think that'll fully reach through the bathroom.
Oh. Scene looking to do some more damage. Is it going to be their way they can find the entry? Yassine's doing more damage here. It's now into the 3 versus 3. Bonka hoping to find some success with it. Yassine pushing on forward. The grenades are going out. He spots a player on his right. Can't go in for the kill just yet. The paranoia's gone out. He's had to go into the pistol, but he gets slapped. And NiP, they stand strong, still with 3 alive. And Ziz with the operator will just back away. He does not want to go and try this. It was a good attempt from Bonk, but it was pretty much all Yassine.
That's actually devastating, Banks, because they committed so much to it. And I actually liked the approach that they had. So the Rolling Thunder was held onto over towards Heaven. They go for Showstopper first. Out they push. Yassine goes for that frag. He finds the first. Then they wait for the slow to fade away. When Yassine's able to move again, Rolling Thunder comes through the bathroom. But Yassine was delayed a little bit too much. I didn't see that, but maybe it was an extra slow. Maybe he was just a bit cautious.
He had the wall up, right, to start off with.
Right, okay, so that's obviously why he slowed down so much. Then the Rolling Thunder was in play, right? You call down the Hellfire, the Orbital Strike, right onto Lamps. That pushes Hip out into the open, but they missed the shot. And that one shot would have allowed the player from Spawn and Heaven to push into the site and pincer the players in the bathroom. But instead, they still have to deal with Hip. Hip finds one frag. Yassine's not quick enough in dealing with the bathroom players as well, trying to avoid the Rolling Thunder, and it's over. But that's 3 ultimates committed, Banks. 3. And they don't get anything for it.
Certainly painful for him this time around. Yassine wants to play a bit of mind games with it, and he does. He dominates Firov. Oh, I wish we would have caught that. Firov's probably stood there like, huh? Grenade? Oh, Yassine? What do I do? Bonk mode, they do have the man advantage, but it quickly turns around. Rhyme is there, low on health, but he can grab the spike and group back up, be healed by the Sage. The revives come in as well, so they're back up at 5.
Careful there.
NiP's got control of the B site. So it still throws me off every now and again when we go to Bonk, or Bonkar himself, and I think to say NiP. It sends my mind back a bit.
Way back when.
Oh, Bonka, all right. The spam comes through. Now it's game on. The retake is certainly possible. They don't have the ults in this one. Lucka is going to be flashed out, though. Looking for the chance. Wants to get the shot. Oh, he misses it. Safe jumps up. That's 3 for 1 now. Safe winning out those operator duels. He jumps onto the Hunter's Fury. He's looking to deal some damage. He's able to tag up one of them. Kree's being pushed in here, and Bonka will win it out. A second round for Bonk. They bounce back, and they'll be able to hold on to 2 operators, Mitch. Key for them in finding these successful rounds.
They're making it nice and competitive, Banks, not letting it fly all the way in favor of NiP. Again, really, if I'm Bonk, or if I'm wondering what I want for Bonk, 'cause obviously they're going to want to win the game no matter what, but I really want to just see them put up a fight. I want to see double digits from them and not get rolled. Because statistically, and based on history, this isn't a map that Bonk should be winning. It's one that NiP should probably roll them in. But if you get a map win very tightly, you had to come back into an overtime, and then you get 13-5 or 13-6, it can be very hard to keep yourself in that positive mentality, especially if the next map doesn't start off too well. So at least to make this one close will keep them just naturally in a very good mindset where they'll think, this is our worst map. This is a map that we should suck on, but we still put up a good fight.
Finding the positives in the negatives, that's what it's all about, Mitch. I like your style with that one. Lucka, though, he's not liking his own style for now, because Safe has been able to match him. In the actual duels they've had, just operator to operator, it's 3-1 currently for Safe. But even that doesn't seem to matter that much in terms of the score on the board for now. Ryan got his nade pinned and ready, wants to throw it out. Aaron's just going to back away and allow him to have site control once again, so Bonk favouring the retake situation. Kree waiting, hoping. Ryan popping out the ult, and he's going to have to be careful. He fires it off, but he won't find any success of it. He's still hanging around. He's looking to get into the fight. He might not expect 2 players. They're lining up for him, and that was very scary. That was touch and go, and NiP are dominating him with the headshots at least. They've pushed up on it, and they forced Bonk away again. So many saves having to come into play. This is the problem with this double op setup. So expensive, they just can't risk it. And if they're not getting there fast enough, right? If they're not getting there to stop NiP from getting into the site and they can't get a retake going early on, there's just no hope for them.
This is where I'd like to see the incorporation of the Cypher towards the A site and then allow for the 3-man stack on B, because it feels like NiP are pressuring, at least late in the round, pressuring the B site so much. And it's a fast play. It's not one where you can realize they're pushing and get the rotations on. It's one where you're just completely overwhelmed. So we need to see that, the adaptation of Bonk to it. And so far that hasn't really been there. The operators obviously are good, but if you're smoked out, flashed, and they rush you, well, what can you really do? And they even managed to deal with a lot of the heavier utility that was used up, like Rhyme obviously had popped up his ultimate, went through with the showstopper. The flash from Bonker completely countered him because he thought that they were going to peek it, so he fired away. It was really smart use of the flashbang by Bonker. I don't think it was meant to land actually where it did. I think it was meant to land further out so it would flash the A site, and therefore bait him into that shot, but it worked out either way.
The B site, right?
Sorry, the B site. Yes, no, not the A site.
So that's an incredible flash. It's got all the way to the A side. Elbow to A. Here we go.
It's a god tier lineup.
Well, Phil's trying to do a bit of lining up himself. Did a tad bit of damage. He's going to go scout out for some more information, but he'll find them in lamps. The aggression. Oh, Yassine. Rhyme was ready and waiting for you. Some raise on raise action, and look at this once again. NiP are going to back away. They're going to push on to B. They've been having so much success here. Oh, this is just dominating. Ziz may have been able to find one, but NiP have just ran straight past him. Spike on the floor, and this might give him the chance. Oh, nicely done by Ziz. The fact that he had to get pushing him for the spike. Oh, he nearly manages to make it work. Hip on the flank, though. It's still a 2 versus 2. For Bonk, they need to deliver this. These operator shots, they're relying on it so heavily. Safe just moves on back. He's going to keep himself alive for now. But Aaron's position, this is the big one. He's got a Vandal in hand. Oh, Rhyme plays it to perfection. And they're just going to scoot on away and head to A. Just in the nick of time.
Well, this has been an up and down round, that's for sure.
Yeah, back and forth, mate.
You had the usage of the lockdown to try and bait them into thinking it was the A site, but they obviously had Ziz in the perfect position to catch the spike. Now Safe in a difficult position. He's hoping they peek him, and it looks like he might have gotten that opportunity, but they're lining up together. They swing. They know it's an operator they're up against, so that's no problem when they take the fight together. And with that, another round for NiP, giving them a 5-round lead and already a very successful attacking side. I mean, to get back into this one, Bonk are going to have to turn up like we've never seen them before. And we know that Bind isn't a map they should win. We know it's not great. So I'm always going to put that caveat out there. But the fact that NiP are now starting to streak together so many rounds on the attacking side, this has got to be really beating the morale down of Bonk, and I hope they're able to stay in that positive mindset. I want to see them pick up more rounds so we get a really nice, meaty third map. I think no matter what, they should be delivering that performance, but as I said, it's hard to stay positive when you're getting stomped.
Communication is the key to success, alongside a lot of positive communication. Rhyme right now, he's dialed right in. He is completely feeling it. Kill after kill's been working out massively for him. You see this, NiP are not overextending. It's like watching a different team, right? Compared to how they ended on Ascent towards the end to where they are now here on Bind. They're just playing what is normally sound, good commed Valorant. It's like backing away at the right time, getting the peak coming out. Yeah.
Not
just
allowing
waiting
themselves
for it all to happen.
Not falling victim to these pistols like we saw from Bonk on the attacking side right over in the previous map. Just barreling forward, looking for the close range duels and giving them opportunities. Instead, it's a very tight game, and we complimented NiP because, let's be honest, you know, 3 weeks ago we wouldn't see NiP playing like this. Even on a map like Bind against Bonk, I don't think they would be on this kind of form because they were making so many mistakes. But now they're in a much better position than they were before. They're playing better. They're looking better. Definitely a much cleaner Valorant. And this is why we were so critical. Again, if you guys were watching that previous tournament, the Allied Odyssey, we were consistently laying into NiP, saying that they should never be playing this way. And this is why, you know, they're capable of so much more than what we had seen.
Ooh. On the edge here, Mr. Bonker.
I really don't think Bonk is going to get a kill if he pushes out here. He has got I think he's got a shotgun, right? So a bookie possibly. Yeah, he's got a bookie, so maybe when he opens that door, Hip could be caught off guard.
Here we go.
Still gonna hit him.
Oh! It was all that build up just for him to go down really easily. I like the attempt. I'm all down for something like that. The Bonkar right now, though, you're buying up again, but it's so tough. NiP are just outplaying you. They are far better at buying. They certainly understand how this needs to be played out. You're just not seeing some of those small mistakes happen, right?
Yeah, we're definitely not seeing the same Bonk that you seen over on the previous map. But the thing is, obviously, it's just not a map they're comfy with. I mean, if you take a look at why, now they're adapting, right? They're putting the Cypher over towards the A site, but it feels like even the angles that they're taking, the fights that they're finding, never really put them in a comfortable spot. That nade followed safe through the TP. The little cluster afterwards pursued him. He's managed to spot out Looker up close. They might look to deal with him. Because he's alone, coming out through toilets is definitely a possibility. Oh. But what a shot by Safe. Never mind.
How many times? I want a stat which is just Safe versus Looker at this stage. It may not matter what the overall score is for NiP, but Bonk in this fight, that's where they're finding a lot of success. Christine still manages to make it happen.
Got a manual martyrdom in play with that nade. They don't know that Aaron is here. They didn't spot him out earlier. The cam's been heard. They know it's over towards the lamps, and they've dealt with it now. Hellfire comes down. Orbital strike. That's going to allow an opportunity for the swing to come through. Aaron needs to be very careful on this one. He's in a little bit of danger. They've spotted him out, but Ziz through the smoke. Oh, no, it's Aaron. Given free reign. They knew he was there, I thought. It looked like it.
Yeah, maybe they fought and then just went up against it. Oh, they're lining up for him. So close. He's done a huge amount of damage. Bonk now needs to swing on it, and that's exactly what he does. Great use of abilities. They come back into the round. It was very back and forth, and the aggression that Bonk showed. But it's only 3 on the board. They have to get this 4th, Mitch. Last round is an absolute must. And do they have an operator in play at all? No, they don't. Oof. Bulldogs, Vandal, and Phantoms.
Bonker push to the Bulldog. Still a very good weapon. I love it. Honestly, I think the Bulldog, again, I'm not saying it is the best rifle, but I think it feels the best. It's the most satisfying to use when you hit that triple burst and land the heady after heady. Oh, man. Tingles me.
Yeah, I get you. I get you with it.
But only ADS. I don't think I've ever sprayed it. Hip fire. Too slow. Coming into this final round, the penultimate of the half. Bonk. Ooh, they've lost Yassine. Big death to take straight away. Safe's managed to get an ult orb, so he's now fully stacked up with the Hunter's Fury ready to go.
And
now with a stun, if they stun down and then Hunter's Fury, that could be dangerous, but he's taking a fight.
Oh.
Never mind.
Not ideal. Bonker's trying to even up the numbers. Ziz is helping him out as well, but Hip continues to push on forward. NiP looking for control. They've had so much success at the B site over and over again. Bonk have struggled to hold on. And look, they're just ready and waiting. Easy shot for Fearoff to hit. Now it's only Aaron that remains, and not even just in this game. He's been struggling throughout this tournament to really change up the play for his team.
You should run.
Starts off with one's got his ult on play. Looks to try and tap him up. He's got the information here at least. Is it going to work out? Straight up onto it. One more to find. But it's ticking so fast already. Oh, no.
What? Why didn't he destroy it? Why didn't he destroy it? It was right behind him. What was that?
I think he just gave up on the time. He was just like, you know what? I am so unlucky. GG.
He's seen too many Reddit posts saying that Killjoy's useless, and he was like, oh, no, don't worry about lockdown. Doesn't matter.
I can run away from lockdown, right? Try telling that to all of us stuck in quarantine right now. You ain't running away from that anytime soon.
Only 2 days left for me, Banks, and I can live my life again. Looking forward to it.
What do you mean? So you're going to do the same stuff you do anyway? So it's not really going to
Just sit
change
inside.
anything, Mitch. Yeah.
But then I'm allowed to go outside. I'm not going to, but I'm allowed to, and that's what I'm after.
There's the difference.
And we got another tech pause coming in towards this start of this half. Just take a look at the scoreboard there. Rhyme's been playing like a madman, not just on the Rays, but previously over there on the, I think it was Sage he was playing before. Like,
oh yeah, he's looked good.
Mm-hmm. Looks solid. Yeah, but Sage in the previous map, 23 kills. Actually, I can grab the stats. Hold on. You said you wanted to see a head-to-head duel, right?
Yeah.
Between Looker and Safe.
Come on, give me the magic information.
So,
From what I was trying to track in my head, it looked like Safe was just wrecking.
On the previous map, from what I'm seeing, it was actually Looker got
on previous. I'm on about this map. Yeah.
I can't see this map, but on the previous one, Looker got 2 kills against Safe, and Safe got 7 against him.
See?
So
it's been more of the same this time around, I'm sure. Even with Bonk getting bonked.
Again, if you guys are watching at home and you're thinking, oh, well, like, surely Bonk got lucky the previous map, right? They're going to get stomped out, NiP win this easy 2-1. I wouldn't say that. If you're only just joining us, we've been saying it from the start that this is a map that really isn't that solid for Bonk. If you take a look down through their history, like they do not play this map a lot. So let me just give you the quick stats on this. Haven, they've played 13 times. Split 10. Ascent 10. Bind 3. And of those 3 times, they beat Party Pirates the first time they ever played it. This is, I'm going back nearly 2 months at this stage. And then the other 2 games, they lost 13-4 to NiP and 13-5 to G2. And they haven't played it in 27 days. So they really don't like this map.
But considering there's only 4 maps, maybe you start to practice it a bit, you know? I'm not really down for this whole excuse that, oh, we don't need to practice all the maps, you know? It's like, come on.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. They definitely do need to practice it and get up on it. But what you're seeing at the moment is NiP trying even a new setup, having hit through on the Killjoy pretty consistently delivering. And it's proven to be absolutely no problem for them adjusting to playing on any map with it. But for Bonk, they're still on the same setup that they've been on Bind the previous time we saw them play. Just 2 agents swapped between players. And evidently they haven't found their comfort zone in any of their scrims.
Well, can Bonk find some comfort in this pistol, or will it be more of the NiP show? It started off that way as Bonkar's fallen. You're going to see at least 1 jump through the teleporter for now. They're going to try and get their skates on towards B. You're seeing up front, but he's already been tagged off. Oh, the turret doing some horrible damage to him, delaying his push on. NiP, though, they can strike off the back of this. Is exactly what they're going to do. The paranoia was up, but you're seeing it doesn't even matter for him. Him and Safe are putting in the work, but is it going to be enough? They're very low on health. And NiP come through with headshots galore. Only Ziz remaining. He's stuck. That's not going to work out. 10-3. Then if you're Bonk, do you just go for a risky buy-up on this one?
You're so far behind. I mean, it's definitely something you could go for. I'm happy either way, really, whatever you decide on. On the attacking side, I'd probably lean more towards an eco and a fast play. But there's definitely the viability. We've seen it again and again by teams like G2, by Liquid, coming out and grabbing the likes of a Marshall alongside pistols. Bonker, he bought a shorty for a second. I think he might have thought he was on Jet. Typically on the attacking side, you know, if you're taking an eco, a Jet will find a shorty, and that's about it. It's the El Clasico by Banks. Nobody else has got anything to work with. I wonder where they're going to deploy that ult orb. So there was a smoke down that they could have picked it up in. And I think probably, you know, if you manage to get an ult orb in a round like this, that's a win. You've only got classics, so you'll take any benefit that you can find. And it's going to be Yassine that takes it. Then they're going to go over towards bathroom, and they're going to try to take this ult orb. It's already been nicked up, though, they've noticed. So that TP is just going to be a long run around for Yassine back towards the B side.
I'm just struggling to see what Bonk can do here, Mitch. I'm out of options for him. Not just in this round, but against NiP, who looks so good on bind. The teleporter players are all going to come in. Fast and furious heading into the A site, but is it going to be enough? Rhyme is there. He only has the ghost anyway, so it's not too much for them to deal with. The flash is going to go out, but Hip pretty much turns away from it successfully. The shock dart also following through. Some long-range damage trying to come in, but it's not going to work out. And now on Bonk, they need to bring that same A game they had towards the end of Ascent if they want to at least make this competitive. But already NiP are just one round away from map point to take us to a third, which will be Haven.
The NiP have clearly done a lot to their game ever since the Allied Odyssey, where they lost versus G2, Liquid, FPX, and Liquid again on this map. They came through in this tournament 13-0'd big, and I feel like they've always done well versus the mid-tier teams. Like, obviously beating big, they destroyed BBL on this map as well. Giants was a little bit closer, even with a lot of mistakes. And then, as I said, Bonk 13-4 last time they played.
Oh, Cree gets super aggressive. The wall goes up in the end, but it was a little bit too late to save him. And you see he's already marched on into the site, but look at the killjoy being activated. A lot of damage being done, but Bonka wants to stand strong for a bit longer as he comes through. Oh, Bonka, you didn't expect the turret to still be hiding there. Hips in the back lines, and actually, he could be the one to still make this work. But now, are they starting to second-guess themselves? Do they stick together as a two and try and fight this off, or well, now that information is going to be passed on? Ziz took a couple of shots. And the fact that the turret's still able to just stand there and be a nuisance.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that after the game, what I think should happen with the turret, but oh, look at the damage done. Ziz, he's on the headshot angle though, and almost manages to deliver, but Ryan quick on the headshot. The time is still decent for Aaron, but he's surrounded, and in the end, the Ghosts managed to turn him into one. 12-3. NiP, they're on map point. This is a map that favors them massively, as we said, but Haven, come on, let's just get there. Let's just go, because it's 50-50, Banks. It's a coin flip between these two teams, and I'm sure some people are going to be sat there going, but Bonk are getting destroyed. I guarantee they're going to look a lot better on the next map.
The thing here, which is very scary, is Luck has not had an incredible game, and yet he was been the difference maker for this team over and over again. And Hip, right now, is just playing pretty normal. Like, nothing too special, nothing fancy.
Yep.
Certainly learning to use his abilities a bit better, as we see across all of this. So if those two start playing their A game, oh god, Bonk in for a world of hurt. Nice use of the ult, but it's not going to connect. He tries to make it happen. Bonk, they're getting destroyed at every angle. They're managing to hold on for now. That was looking so good for NiP. Luck is going to try and turn this around. He misses a critical op shot. He's going to go in for some more. Still lands it onto Aaron, but Yassine comes in to sideswipe him one.
Bonk's still a lot of work to do. It's not over by any means. They've got to even get that spike down. It's being planted at the moment. Not much they can do to deny it. The shock dart's doing some decent damage. That's a double bounce. And look at that. Look how low everybody is.
Huge amount of damage. The retake is certainly possible. Hip starts it off. They want to push on this now. Even though their location's being revealed, it doesn't seem to matter. NiP, large and in charge. They're battering them back. Fear off onto safe. Ziz is the only one alive. He does have the operator. He hears them trying to bait it out. Oh no, the turret placed in front of him. He's got to try and deal with it, but Fear off lands the headshot. It's 13-3. They've done it one round better. And we'll be going to Haven as we even it up 1-1 in the map score, Mitch. You got to say, Bonk, they just didn't look good when it came to bind, especially against this NiP. This is not the same NiP we've seen in recent tournaments. This is a much better looking NiP with a few changes, right? You see Lucka now not having the jet on bind, which he usually goes in for. We're seeing the fact that Hip has the killjoy in play. And ultimately, those two guys didn't really have like amazing performances. Ryan has just been the star today.
100%. Yeah, Rhyme's been the one delivering again and again. Obviously, we haven't got to see the Jet really deliver much for Looker. I want to see the Jet come out. I want to see it come into force so we can have Looker going for those aggressive duels. But same can be said for Safe. You know, he's been playing these roles over on the Sage, on the Sova, where he can't really afford to go for those early aggressive duels. But even still, He's been winning a lot of these fights versus Looker, keeping him down towards the bottom of the scoreboard. I'm fairly impressed with the delivery from NiP on that map, but it's more in line with what I'd expect from them. The fact that Bonk won the first map meant that we pretty much knew this was going to happen. We gave the warning the whole way through, and now we get to go to Haven, where I really see it as coin flip.
Coin flip. So does NiP have the momentum coming off of it, or does Bonk have the hunger, right? It's going to be looking at that side of things. Now we're getting further on within the tournament. Remember, this is just the first semi-final game. We've got another one between G2 and FPX coming up after this, but this is the Level Valorant Clash 2 powered by Logitech, and you guys are here and in for a treat because we've got amazing games coming your way. I know people are hyped up to see what G2 and FPX is going to be, but between NiP and Bonk, we've got to find out who's going to be making it to the final. Mitch, I'm going to make you call it here and now. Who do you think's going there? Who do you think's getting it done?
You know what, Banks? Throughout the whole start of beta, especially the last couple months, I've been let down. I'm going to go with Bonk. I'm on the Bonk train now.
Ooh. Okay. Let's see if chat's agreeing with you when it comes to this, because I'm definitely on the Bonk train, right? But I'm seeing a NiP that I'm liking. I was very confused of what we saw from them previously at the last Ignition Series event in Europe. I was starting to question what was going on with these guys. But right now, I'm seeing that there's some much better NiP who are actually showing us they can develop as a team here, where it was starting to look quite scary for them at one point.
Yeah, no, 100%. NiP have gotten so much better in the last couple of weeks. They've woken back up. As Godby said, the performance they had previously wasn't anywhere near what it should have been, and now they're on form. Look, as I said, coin flip in this one. I think I've taken a gamble. Let's see if Bonk can deliver.
Flip that coin, catch it, see which way it lands after the break. We'll catch you guys in just a few. Havens coming right up. It's the decider. we're going into Haven next. It's Bonk taking on NiP. Bonk took the first map in overtime 14-12, but we saw NiP on Bind win 13-3 domination. Absolute ownage, even improving on their score from last time around, Mitch, which I think is impressive on its own.
Yeah, they've been stepping up over the last couple of weeks, as we said, and hey, they showed it right here. 13-3 is damn good for them, but we knew Bonk could just... They're really not good when it comes to Bind. They don't play it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, they've got 10 plus plays on every other map, and that was their 4th time playing Bind with this lineup, and none of them have really gone well, with the exception of way back versus the Party Pirates lineup.
But when it comes to Haven, right, you think it's a 50-50, you think it could be a coin flip in there. I'm just excited, really, to see how Bonk can bounce back from that. Because, yeah, they know they don't play binds. Yeah, they know it's not a great map for them. But it's the mentality that now needs to stand strong. We had that interview with Yassine. He was very confident. He was bubbling. He was saying, yeah, we're ready. We're going to go all the way with this. Well, now you've really got to prove it, right? Now that mental fortitude aspect really comes into play.
Yeah, so this is a map that we saw Bonk play versus BBL, for example, and lose in overtime. And that gave us a decent context then when it came up against Team Liquid to say, oh, well, Bonk should lose this map. They're not great at it. They beat Liquid 13-7. Now, look, I'm going to be honest. Liquid's form has not been good in this tournament, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
They didn't make it through group stages, and that is not like them. But you have to say, Bonk looked solid. Then they went on to prove that versus Angry Titans, another very capable team, the previous Project SW, that did a lot of damage at the same level as Bonk. You know, these is another team that they made it through the open quals, like right to the very end. They'd be in your finals, but they'd never quite make the main events, the same as Bonk had for quite a while. They came into this one, and they got 13 forward. And Bonk smacked them out on that one. So I think Haven is probably, if anything, a little bit favored towards them when you take into consideration NiP's recent results, which have been mediocre at best.
Do some of these results include Haven results with Killjoy in play, though? Or is this just the results of old?
No, this is not with Killjoy in play. As of yet, we haven't seen them deploy Killjoy. The last time they played Haven was in the Allied Odyssey, so we actually don't know even if they're still going to use her. I imagine, though, on a map like Haven, which is so expansive, that they might even want to go for the Cypher Killjoy composition instead of playing without Cypher, because obviously they've replaced Cypher with their Killjoy.
That would be really interesting. I'm down to see them mix it up, but it depends on how much practice they've had out of it before going into, like, this is a semi-final game. This is the deciders match, right? Do you want to test something? What was it? Was it Mixwell that decided to try out a raise for the first time in an official tournament? You know, like, maybe not do that.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't want to do that too much. It's a scary prospect to deal with.
Yeah, the funny thing was, right, Mixwell was known, or is known, obviously, for his jet gameplay. We saw him pick a raise, and we were like, oh, what's he going to show us on this one? He's going to redefine the raise, and then he killed himself with his ultimate, and we are like, yeah, that's not going to happen again. He's right back to the jet immediately.
And it was Angel yesterday that said to us, right, the first time they were using the Phoenix was literally just in that game. They threw it out there, and then they were wrecking. They just thought, you know what, we can get away with doing this because right now we're just so far ahead of everyone.
Yeah, so the thing about Phoenix, I don't see him being in the meta, but it's not like these off-meta teams can't pick him. Someone like Angel IGLing a team to just play aggressively through smokes. I mean, it's a CIS leader, of course. That's something they're going to want to do. I love it. I'm there for it, and I like to see teams experimenting. When I talk about my distaste for a Phoenix generally, it's like I don't want to see every team deploying it. I don't think that it suits that, but you pull it out every now and then, hell, I'm behind it. But it was funny as well, the way that was, like, the Angel was saying they hadn't even scrimmed with him. They were just like, do you want to try a Phoenix? Like, has anyone played him before? Anyone? Okay, yeah, go for it. Like, that's just great.
Go try. Go make it work for us. Go and see if we can make some magic happen here. Now, when it comes to Bonk, do you think it's just going to be sticking to their role? Because I come back to that Haven game we saw them play. It was the best of one, right? They played in Haven, and they just dominated. And it was started to let it slip away a bit when they got into the defensive side, when they locked it down the end. But that's when I really noticed it was safe up on that jet, was getting away with murder with the operator. And he's already been having a great time against Lucker. Do you have the stats up for how he did against Lucker coming into Bind? Because even though they got dominated, he was winning a lot of the duels, just the straight up head-to-heads.
Yeah, so he was +2 in duels versus Looker. 4 out of 6 went his way. Not quite as convincing as Ascent, but considering how one-sided the map was, I think that's still a pretty impressive stat.
Yeah, you'll definitely take it.
100%. Now, when they play typically on Haven, you're going to see Bonk play with the same composition. It's always the jet coming out, or at least in recent memory, it has been. It's going back to beta when it changed. The one thing that's been different recently is that they moved away from playing with a Phoenix, and instead they started to, because they played 7 games with a Phoenix, and this was throughout pretty decent tournaments like the Mandatory and Allied Odyssey versus G2, NiP, BBL, like decent level teams. They're not just messing around with it. But now they've swapped out their Phoenix and are playing instead in towards a Raze. So I'm okay with that because of what we've seen from Yassine. He's been so strong on the Raze that let him do whatever the hell he wants.
Let him do whatever he wants. You're willing to just give him anything, right? Just say, yeah, cool. You can have anything you want as long as you're popping heads and you're rocking it. To be fair, it's like you look at your Zipans, you look at your Yassines. These Raze players can get away with absolutely anything at times. And it's just such a suitable agent for players who want to be a bit more aggressive, want to push the lines a bit. If they're fragging out as well, the amount of times that showstopper can be your complete opener into a site.
Yeah, you know, you actually mentioned Zipan. I saw that he was being a little bit sneaky earlier on. He's in there in the Twitch chat taking a look at his potential opponents. That's what I like to see, man. You just scout out the opposition, see what they're playing, how they're playing it. That's really something that, because you have to remember in this tournament, we're keeping quite a tight schedule, right? It's game after game after game. We're running on in. So you don't really have a lot of time to sit back and watch back VODs. So really, you got to catch it now. Catch it while it's live and don't waste any time, because obviously they're going to be playing their game later and then they'll probably run with like 10, 15 minutes into the grand final. So it's important to get your scouting out. I don't think enough players do that, really. Like, you wake up on game day and just chill out, but definitely important to scout out your opposition.
No, it's finding that information, right? Because it's not like you just said, there's not much time in between it anyway. So anything you can pick up, anything you can see. Like we spoke to some of the players already, they're actually practicing against a lot of these teams. Some teams they're trying to avoid for obvious reasons. They want to hide some things, not show their hand too much coming into it. But what we are coming into is Haven. It is a decider. It's Bonk starting on their attacking side, but we've seen them be very capable time and time again. NiP, they've looked great on this. We're seeing Jets in play from both sides. No Cypher up on NiP, though. It is going straight in for the Killjoy, so it's Killjoy all the way for Hip now. Who's going to take this? We're about to find out. This is the Level Valorant Clash powered by Logitech. You guys are ready and waiting to see who's going to be the first team to make it to the grand final. It's time to get it on. It's time to see how this pistol round's going to go. And Bonk, they're gearing up at the moment, droning out towards C. Hip's up in window. We can't hear anything just yet. And there's already aggression being shown out of B. 3 players pushing on down.
At the Omen map, as we see, the smoke's already in play, and the C site overrun as Bonk just quickly, way too fast for NiP to react, overcome the site. But they're at a man disadvantage, and they want to seize extra map control. Good shot, though, by Hip, and he's going to shut them down with Kree at his side. This is looking good, with the man advantages sticking firmly in favor of the defenders. The shock dart comes through, but not in time, as this just about manages to fade away to the side.
He walked straight into a headshot, though. Bonk are now all alone in a 1v3. He's up on their wall. He tries to make some shots work. Oh, how did he get away with that? He's still doing it. Bonker, no way. 57 health and a dream. He's playing around the side. He tries to reveal the area. He's going in for the kill. He's on 14 health. Very low. They've got to play off this oh so careful. Next shot can win. They're dancing around each other. He's buying as much time as possible. Bonker goes in for the clutch. He gets it done. 4 kills and the teabag to end it. Bonk take pistol, which should have never been theirs.
Wow, thanks. I mean, they're at a man disadvantage when they overrun C. They go for garage control and it falls apart. They're slapped back and forth into a 4 versus 2. Bonker left by himself, and he's jump shotting with the classic like it was never even nerfed. Remember, they changed the in-air accuracy of this weapon. It's very hard to use. It's a very weak shotgun when jumping, good up close, if you're right-clicking, I'm talking about. But he made it look like it was pinpoint accurate. That was gorgeous, with a 1-0 lead. Bonk, hey, there's going to be no question about where their morale is at after that previous map now. They're back. They're ready to go, because that clutch right there must have hyped them up. And again, look at that boom bot. So well timed by Yassine. Oh, the nade, it's huge. They're all in the corner.
Oh dear. He may have thought, it doesn't matter if I die, you know. My grenade will do the work. That's a lot of damage being put up there. And I'm so happy to see Safe on this jet as well. This is going to be epic for him.
That's what we need, right? We want to see him on the jet so he can deliver these more individual performances in rounds, not having to worry so much about where he's playing and if he can escape, because he's got that dash to always get out. Now, you consider the position of NiP. Playing frags, it's always a possibility in a round like this. You know, you've only got your weak pistols. Why not? But a very, very safe approach by Hip.
Yeah.
Free. It looked like he was thinking about the ninja play for a second, but he's been spotted out. He's been found out. So I think the logic of Hip's approach here is that he's not necessarily trying to save. He's trying to set up so that if he's pushed down, that turret will actually spot them first and give away their position, at which point he could swing through and get the right click on while they're distracted, and hopefully net himself that kill. But he's happy if he doesn't find anybody to just save. And obviously he's not trying to carry anything forward. It's not like he's got a weapon or anything like that. But as we discussed before, it's about just conserving the ult charges and not giving them to your opponents for free.
Smart players coming in, that's for sure. A straight 2-0 here, though, for Bonk on their attacking side. Lucker getting aggressive, and Ziz comes in with a swipe, but it's a 1-for-1 trade out. Kree's just going to back away here. Throws out the Shadow Orb, doesn't want to deal with it for now. Yassine puts the blast packs out. Oh, Kree, he's taking so much damage, standing a bit too far in the open here. We said about ignoring that B site. Sometimes you need to take that advice. Still though, 4 versus 4 for this one. They've healed Kree back up, but his armor's gone. Bonk with that Bulldog. Trying to look for an opportunity, but no one's going to poke him at this range. But he's going to force out another Shadow Orb down there on C, so still 2 players on C, 1 on A, 1 on B for now. And they're gearing up for the A push in. This Sova, Fearoff, playing super defensive. He's got to be oh so careful when he pokes out. It's all too quiet for Bonk at this point. They're like, what is going on? But Fearoff, well, he lands one, but that's all he's going to get. The push out now can come in. They can grab control of A, but it's how fast this retake's going to come in from NiP.
And they're geared up for it.
He's right on the edge of reason there. He was looking for it.
Remember, you can always spam up through that wood from down below. They know there's players there now. So that cam from Aaron, he's just trying to spot them out. If he can manage to land a dart, it could be free kills.
Oh. Oh no! Yassine jumps up. His ult doesn't work out. Rhyme, he's been having great games, but it's on Bonka, who's got the Hunter's Fury. And they can just jump off it. He lands it. He's now got to push on round. He's got to make this work in timing. It's not going to happen. Rhyme is there, and he wants to be the reason to put the end to it all. He picks up a 3rd kill and helps clutch it out. What a great retake. Pretty much from Rhyme. He was backed up by his teammates, but he went in there confident as ever.
So here's the thing, Banks. You know, in that situation, the ultimate, it just completely wrecked Yassine. Because he fires it away. Obviously, it boosts you backwards, right? There's a bit of blowback from it. He went up in the air. He was exposed to heaven. Rhyme grabbing both kills so quickly. And I love the decision-making by Bonker. Something that we highlighted previously. So he commits to the first and finds the kill. And then he just puts it away. Doesn't even fire the 3rd charge because he knows it's not going to kill the other player.
Yeah.
So he runs in. But obviously, that other guy had stuck it halfway. Just tanked up the shots. And they realized that they could just win the game that way. What is that? Looker, that's a sniper, not a shotgun. And he comes in, just hip firing it into the head. But it's not going to be in... what was that dash? Safe. He panicked.
The panic dash costs him his life. Now, actually, it's a 3v3. It's possible here for NiP. Hip has the information. The ult's going to be committed as well. Fearoff looking to do some serious damage. No spike being planted just yet. Oh, Bonka misses a key shot. It was looking so good for them. Aaron now in the 1v2. Fearoff again. He loves it, doesn't he? Oh, this is sneaky. I like this from Aaron.
It depends where he goes, though, right? So he has access to spawn in 35 seconds. It's enough time to go C, to take the longer rotate. It looks like he's going to go all the way around. I'm sure
they might even think he's saving.
At this point...
Oh, is there still a turret down by the looks of it? Yeah.
It looks like it's safe, though, right? Like, it's on the other side of the site. It depends how far he extends. I don't even know if he's in... Oh, he should be slightly out of the arc of it. Maybe? He's gonna get planted anyways.
Spike goes down. Gets a good camera position up. We'll give him the information. He needs to check the turret. Gets rid of it. Does take a bit of damage though. Less than ideal. The paranoia's gone out. The cage is in there, but Kree's pre-firing it. He's ready for it. And the second round's going to go in for NiP. A really good attempt there from Aaron, but a little bit too much for him to handle.
I mean, it was a nice decision to go all the way around the C to get that spike planted, buy that little bit of extra time, but the round not going his way. Keeps it close, keeps it competitive. On the 2-2 scoreline, NiP, they're bouncing back in. They should be able to take the lead now, because realistically, Bonk don't invest into this one. They take a nice light buy. The position that Hip's putting the turret in as well, this is like the... You know when you're looking at a Cypher on the C site and they have a cam down that's like right on the little box at the back of sight that just sees straight down long? It's like, yeah, it's probably going to be destroyed, but the whole point of it is that it at least finds a little bit of information. At this point, I probably would have pulled the turret back just because, you know, it's going to get destroyed, but yeah, they left it there for a little bit.
Well, you see him trying to bait out the shots from the operator. They're pushing up on it. Those shock darts very close. But Ziz can just back away for now. NiP not fully overcommitted to this though, which is good, right? Everyone's pretty much staying to their positions. So they're not being baited out by anything just yet. And really good information plays coming out. They don't have to be worried about anything that Bonk are doing yet. Nothing's been sold. Oh, Kree from this position with a judge could be coming up huge as well. It's all on this swing and how it's going to work, what he's going to hear. Oh, played off the side of the turret. I love it. He's only getting one. Bonkar was ready for it, but can they even push into C now? Look at the positions that are being had here. They're going to start to rotate around. They're going to actually push it towards A. Sage's trying to put up some damage on play, but he's already been put down to 23 health. And with no Sage for their team, there's no way of him getting back up there in health. Ziz is going to have to come up huge. He's going to get checked. He swings for it. It's just in the nick of time. Lucka goes down. The spike's going to be planted. And they're actually in an advantageous situation despite the limited weaponry.
Oh, those shock darts a little bit too deep. Just about missing out on it. Like, even with the HP in play, Bonk definitely do have that advantage now. Able to tuck away, and Safe even takes the headshot angle, just doming Fearoth and making up for the low health he had. NiP should be considering a save at this point.
Yeah.
Access is so limited, they're going to push through a choke point, and look, they fall back.
Makes perfect sense. I completely agree with them saving that because Bonk didn't really have a business winning that round already. You saw Safe was super low. When he started to rotate around from mid, he was at 23 health. The fact he still even managed to get a kill there is pretty damn impressive. But that cage being down as well, the way they played off the side of it, far too tough. And Bonk, well, they stop. Too many rounds being put together in one go here for NiP. They put a third on the board. And NiP's money is not pretty. They can get the buys up just about. You can drop over to Fearoth at least one.
Watching this.
Plenty of ults up. And actually, look, Luck has got his ult up. So there you go. That'll be easy for him to do. He'll pop the ult most likely. And just play off that.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's what you're often going to want to do. We've seen some Jets, I think especially in the Asian tournament banks, where they were just making some really odd decisions when it came down to committing your ultimate, like buying the one rifle and ulting. But it is essentially a free rifle, and that's what Looker's going to use it as. Getting up close. They might even want to use the shotgun aspect of it, although we know how rough that's been for Looker in the past. The right clicks never seem to work out for him, and he almost loses his life through the smoke spam.
He has to land some sick knife headshots now. Oh, nicely done. Right click of death. It works out for Lucka this time, but they just spam him up through the smoke. They'll hold on to the advantage, but okay, it's a jet ult that only gets one. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. You've got information that they're all at the top of A long, and the rest of your players now have weapons. Kree's gone super aggressive, and this may catch him off guard completely. It's just about to be checked, but he can still easily walk away with the first kill. Oh, Bonker! 33 health, he still makes it work. Now the Jet has popped his ult on the side for Safe. Needs to be careful of this turret being there, though. They're going to deal away with it very quickly. Hip's coming all the way around. He hears the draft and he's very worried where that might be coming from. Safe's only good for one. They're trying to hold on to it. Hip is locking it down. This is what you want to see from this man, but the paranoia is going to make it difficult for him. All on fear off. He can certainly clutch this out. He can hear the spike about to be planted, but he knows there's one close to back sight. Tries to get the information. Actually, he will get it for now. This is huge. How does he want to play it off? Expects the swing, but the timing. Aaron, that's lucky he didn't push on it straight away because Fearoff's aim was directly where he would have poked out.
He didn't actually know about Kree in the backside, so that swing was pretty impressive to... Ziz in the backside. The swing was impressive to take him down first. Could have really worked out, but... unfortunately not. I still want to see so much more from Hip as well. I feel like he's been delivering. Not a bad performance, but we know how much this guy is capable of. No matter what agent he's playing on, he comes through with insane performances. And I think, yeah, definitely still finding his feet when it comes to Killjoy. Maybe we'll even see it change in the future if he's not fully comfortable, but I do feel like he's bringing a lot of value to the team outside of just kills. He's pulled his turret back as well over towards the C site. It's no longer in play as he just goes for a little bit of a more passive hold. They've lost one player straight off the bat, so having some sort of information play available to them is quite important at this stage because they're going to want to start to stack up. Kree's being... Oh, no. It was smart that they realized they'd lost that map control. Yeah. I think they will also have heard him TP into window in the first place when he got down towards bottom mid, and so we're just cautious of him still being around there.
Fearoff takes a few shots and he's like, well, maybe I'll just duck away from that one. Don't want to sit around here for far too long. Bonk just need to play it smart from here though, right? They got the numbers advantage for sure. They're only up against lesser weapons, so it shouldn't be too difficult to deal with. So be careful of Hip's potential swing. Turret's going to be instantly destroyed, but they're going to know he's close. Ooh, timing there for your scene. I respect that. That's an interesting way of getting past it. The updraft's coming in, but Rhyme... Man, Rhyme has been on point all day long.
Look, it's not like this is something that's massively strange. He's always been a player we can rely on to deliver a good performance, but yeah, exactly the extent to which it's coming in today is just a little bit exaggerated. But look at Bonk, 5-2. They're flying ahead on the attacking side, and we talked about this map. Typically, you know, between these two teams, it looks like a coin flip. I pick Bonk as favorites to take it just based on the recent performances on this map. I feel like they've looked a lot better than NiP. But when you look at how things have developed over the course of this event, at least on Haven, it's only been played 6 times, so you are looking at a relatively small sample size. But it's been slightly attacker-sided, 57%. In fact, it's been the most attacker-sided map in the pool. Again, with only 6 plays, so take it with a pinch of salt. Taking that into consideration, the fact that Bonk are up on 5-2 is even still a little bit more than you would expect. We'll want them now to finish probably up around the 8 rounds because of this early lead. The ult by Bonker, good for 1 bit of damage, that's all. Should be healed back up. Look at the health on Sage. It was literally 1 HP for Rhyme after the fight on short.
Oh, I like this from Ziz as well. While the action's going on, he's managed to sneak in. Rhyme expected it, but wasn't sure if it was up high or down low. Kree now, going to be smoked out. No chance of him trying to fight from there. Doesn't want to be risky and push into it and lose his head. And Bonk is starting to get so many rounds in a row that NiP, they need to find the answers.
A lockdown. That's just going to push them all completely out of here. Look how far back they're gone. Oh Cypher's going to be caught in it still. He's been stuck. He's been detained. That could have been a bait, actually, because he could have went into the corner. Maybe they're cautious of shock darts. But either way, it could have worked out if they pursued him. And you had then the Omen in the corner to take him down. Would have been interesting.
No more charges left.
We come into the late stage of the round, right? Not a lot of time left on the clock. They're going to have to move. It's the A site they want to hit. The Looker's already got that info. A free kill. All they need to do now is delay.
The push is going to come in. Safe. He hits it onto Locker. No, Kree. The worst teleport. That's not what you want to be doing. Bonker's now delivering as well. It's only Hip that remains. A 3v1 with the spike down. He's already used his ultimate as well. So much committed in this round. He's just going to fall back. There's no chance in this. I thought that was NiP's round. I thought that was their way back in.
There was only 12 seconds left, Banks. Why are they challenging close long? Why are they teleporting? What was that?
I think that was just a missed teleport from Kree. That can't have been meant. That couldn't have been intentionally. It can't have been surely.
It looked like he meant to, though. There's nowhere else I think he could have been TPing to. The timing was unfortunate because his teammate died, obviously, so they just pushed out and went, oh, hey, what's up, bro? I'll just take you down. But
it's like, oh, you want to come into our crosshair? Fine, we'll take that.
We'll take that 100% of the time. But it's just like, why? What was the logic behind it? I don't see. It was unnecessary. That's the thing. It was just, it was unnecessary. It could have worked out. He TP'd there, so he'd have a crossfire with his teammate. You know, obviously then Looker could bait the shot or take a kill, fall back, and they get a spray down. It's not a terrible setup. With 12 seconds left, though, you don't need to do that. You just need to delay them for your teammates to rotate.
I'm glad you could see all that, Mitch, anyway. Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know. I think you're trying to balance the color on your camera. It looked like you were doing some sort of an 80s hip-hop move.
Maybe that's what Kree was trying to do in the first place. The 80 hip-hop move. That's what he's trying to do.
Just slide on up. Oh, this is dangerous. We talked about jets.
Oh, Bonk, too smart for that. We've seen it so many times, right? You've got to expect it eventually. This is scary, though. How many rounds can Bonk just continue to chain together? Rhyme, he's had some success, but not as much to be a big damage dealer to secure NiP some rounds thus far. And again, Lucker, this is unlike him, Mitch. We spoke about him being always like the top fragger, always the one who's like first or second here for NiP. He's not had those games today. No, Safe's been outmatching him.
In the semifinals as well is not where you want to see Looker suffer. And I think obviously playing the Jet the whole way through, he's got his comfort pick. It's been surprising, but Safe, yeah, he's been so damn solid. I think not as flashy as what we've seen coming through, but again, not playing a Jet, you can't afford to take those aggressive duels, but he's been punishing. He's been winning those fights. We saw him Sage peek on in and like jumping peek around, taking Looker down. I remember on Bind in toilets so many times. He was able to out peek that Opper, and not many people can when Looker's on form.
Slow push coming in. It can be a risk at times if you start to lose the spike, but it's an easy entry into the C site. Bonk have got it done, and look at Yassine's position. If they even want to try and poke around into him, he's ready and waiting. Ooh, there's that beautiful Nebula Sheriff. Look at it distract you, Mitch. Look at you gaze into its beauty and lose all your focus. Aaron, though, he's going to have some laser focus if they start to push round. Easy first kill, no problem at all. Might expect some more to be close by. He's got some backup from his teammates anyway, but they're just going to have to be chilling.
When you're hunting down these pistols, or you're playing that sort of aggressive exit with versus pistols, you need to be very careful about them just overwhelming you and taking you down, because already they've got that one Phantom. If they find another, that's a massively successful round. And
Definitely.
So the fact that they all exit on the one angle and that there was no point where you're sort of 1v1ing them where they can come forward, pick the rifle and run away, it's very important to have that done, because otherwise, and we've seen it so many times with professional teams, Banks, where they make that mistake. They go in, they're like, oh, I'll get a couple more for my stats, and then all of a sudden your enemies have multiple rifles.
Mitch, I gotta say, Bonkar's at the top. This is just doing his thing. He's been up there the whole way through. But Safe and Yassine don't even need to have a good game right now for Bonk to have this performance. What happens when they really get going?
Now, what happens if they deal with the front line of Bonker and the boys, and then all of a sudden you're left going, okay, like, we got rid of their top fraggers. It's only Safe and Yassine left. Damn.
No. Damn, like that again. Safe. Operator in hand, he takes the opening pick. Lucker goes down. Lucker needs to find a way to bring his A game back in right now. NiP need it. I need to see the Lucker we know and love, because right now he's far too quiet. The wall's gone up. Aaron's just playing on the side. Lucker will have a bit of a chance in this one now. Oh, he's going to be spotted out though. That drone's going to give him a bit more information, but is it going to be enough? Ryan wants to try and push in on it, but as that smoke goes down, does he dare risk it? The spike's already on the floor. Lucker's popped out his ult. He's trying to duck around so many bullets, but look at this. Oh, the flank. It's huge. It's going to be in time. It's going to work out. There's only 2 more to find. And actually, NiP could get this done. NiP are in a great spot. Kree. Oh my God. How the hell did Bonk lose that? The flank was there. They were just over-facing. Great work from NiP. Lucka coming back alive and being revived was key.
Yeah, that was massive commitment to allowing the flank to come through. They're so focused on it that they take way too many fights. They completely shut down. And then you end up in this spot where the smoke that I think they had thrown out themselves blocks out their flanker, so he can't actually deal nearly as much damage. It seems like they weren't fully on the same page on that one. Like some players wanted to allow the flank to be the main issue for their opponents, and the others wanted to play this much more passive game.
Ooh, double op setup. We do see it so often on Haven more and more, Mitch. Is this where NiP can find their success?
And we're seeing triple op setups sometimes coming out on Haven.
Yeah.
Definitely a map that allows that sort of play, but oh, it looks safe. We haven't seen too much of this, have we? The knives out, looking for some victims. The dash immediately, smokes in place. Still got double updrafts to play around, backside clear. Here's where I expect the updraft, but actually just staying passive towards the back of the site, allowing Hunter's Fury to spot out a couple of enemies. They've seen where 2 are, and that's an easy spam for safe. Up above! Oh! I thought that was safe that got it.
Fear off, trying to land it as much as possible. 1 more to find, but he can't make it connect. Safe is playing around with the knives. The spike is all the way down the bottom of C long. They need to get this next kill in play, and that's what Aaron's going to be doing. 3v1 now, Fear off. He's got to change something up hugely here. Bonk have full control, and they're going to bounce back into this round to make it 8-3 potentially. Unless Fear off pulls off one incredible play. Safe still with all the knives as well.
The bots are...
Oh, whoa! The turret, be careful, Safe, especially when you're that low. This is now winnable for Fear off. The turret may give him the chance.
Oh man, how many people are going to die to turrets in this game? When you're low HP, it's always dangerous. Fearoth now knows there's a player on the site going around. Good headshot to Bonker and a 1v1 afterwards, but the swing doesn't work. Unfortunately, the turret kill wasn't enough, and it will go 8-3.
That was damn close though. Fear off in a 3v1. Nearly got it done. Aaron very low health there as well. Last round of the half, and if Bonk can get this, NiP are going to have to play a flawless attack inside.
I mean, no matter what, Banks, it's going to have to be pretty good from them, isn't it? 8-4 is still a hell of a bad half. Even if you consider how, even at an exaggerated rate, you could call this map 60-40. But I'd want to see a whole lot more from NiP. Considering how Bonk started it out, I said I wanted them to end on 8 more as possible. The TP in play that you seen was luckily still took out Hip. They've managed to deal with Omen, and this is a disaster. One by one, NiP are falling. Looker's trying to pull it back, but the shock dart eliminates him, and now it's a massive retake needed by this flank.
Oh, and the Omen ult's going to be used as well. He's low on health. I think he had 1 health to be exact. And he can just disappear and potentially put his own flank onto play if he wants to. Safe. Only 1 more to find. They are close range. Doesn't expect Rhyme to be playing around that side of it. But Rhyme now has to win a 1v3. The Cypher's down in Cubby. He's going to try wall off to give him the extra vision into it. Nice start. Don't overface here though, Bonk. Be very careful. This is Rhyme you're dealing with. And Rhyme time can deliver over and over again. Now they get defensive. Now they try to play it smart. He's going to sit on the spike for now. Tries to get it halfway. It's not going to work out. The 1 HP dream for Ziz works out. And we see a 9-3 first half. Bonk. Absolutely bonkers. I didn't expect it to be that good, Mitch.
I will say, Banks, during the break, I was in Twitch chat, and some people said, and I quote, "This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. NiP will win this map." Well,
we both said Bonk. Unlucky. Now we've just jinxed it, right? NiP going to make some epic comeback. It's going to end like 13-9.
I'll have to write a twit longer apology to everybody. I'm sorry for calling you out. I don't know anything about this game. But no, like statistically, it just looked so good. The only question was, can you come back from getting smashed 13-3 on the previous map? And I didn't have much doubt that they could, because of that conversation that we had the other day with Yassine. And he's just so happy. Yeah. Like, you could just tell by him what he's saying about how the team comms are, that they're not the kind of team that get bogged down on a map that they know that they probably should lose. And I think that's somewhere you have to be deathly honest with yourself in like coming into a map like Bind and go, listen, we shouldn't win this, boys, but let's try.
Aaron just spots it out. Oh, Ziz backing up. You're seeing they're managing to make it work. Tries to play off the blast packs. Kree very low as well. They can only get their way into the site, but Yassine's not done and dusted just yet. They're getting slapped down on every single corner. NiP falling apart on the pistol round. Bonk in a 3v2. Now the spike can get planted, but look at the fast play that's coming in. Fearoff, where's he going to put it? He's just waiting for one of them to push in, trying to make it work. It does stand up. Fearoff delivers on the pistol. And it is going to be enough. Critical rounds, critical plays, and a huge shock dart from Fearoff helps them grab the pistol and secures their lives a little bit further here, Mitch.
You know what? Fearoff came into that round going, guys, we're all pretty close on kills, but I really want to top frag this. And he walks out saying, Gurav Mila Mohagut. And the reason he says that is, of course, he's Irish. So he'd be pulling out those Irish words all the time. He's Irish at heart. That's what matters. That's what matters.
Twitch chat. Help
Man of the people. Man of the people.
At Banks Esports on Twitter, I'm looking for a new co-commentator. It's easy to replace this man. He's not even really a man when we consider his height.
Call me the half man. Many reasons.
Half pint. You're irreplaceable, really, Mitch. Don't worry.
The worst thing that happened to me was in Egypt when I had longer hair. I think I was like 9 years old. Went into a KFC. I was a fat kid. And they just immediately they started laughing and went, Frodo! And that was the worst day of my life. I swear to God, like that actually happened. I was stood there like, really, guys, can't even escape it in Egypt. All right, cool.
I love these guys already. I don't even know them. KFC workers, you're the best.
They spoke basically no English. All they knew was Frodo and Mr.
You're
Baggins.
Irish. You're short. There you go. Unlucky for you, the memes exist. Unlucky for Bonk guy. He's not going to be able to escape for now. He's being trapped down there. He's trying to jump shot as well. Tempting fate with that jump. Do you know what I want to see? And I haven't seen it for a while. When someone makes that jump shot and they just get one tap on the sheriff in the head. That's the most satisfying thing to watch.
The second.
Oh, Safe can't get the second though himself. He's got to be careful. He's trying to play off the smoke. They may think he battled away, but Hip's going to continue to fire off shots into it. And Bonkar's already so low, man.
He was really trying his best impression of the Spanish Inquisition. No one expected him, but unfortunately wasn't able to get much done by the way of achieving his goals. It goes down to a 4v1, and exiting on a weapon is probably the best thing that could happen. Rhyme hasn't quite caught Bonker. He wasn't crouched down, wasn't showing the booty, so maybe there's an opportunity for him to now catch the others off guard when they come on through, when they look for their exits. But they're still being cautious of it.
Yeah. Ooh.
And now he's not going to get away with this, is he? They're coming in hungry for their old charges.
Hunting away. So 5 now on the board for NiP. This is the crucial crunch round. Interesting if Lucky, yeah, is Lucky going to stay on the Marshal? Does he upgrade? Ooh. Okay, he's going to stick with it. He's going to try and take the operator out of the hands of Safe potentially, but it's not been working out for him.
Well, let's see if you take a look down below at the timeline. 2 rounds found by NiP in a row. You win the pistol, you win the anti-eco. Okay, fair enough. Now you come into this round with weaker weapons. So realistically, you shouldn't be winning this. And I'm with NiP. They're not behind enough that they need to force buy up here, that they need to go for their Phantoms and Vandals. Saving over their money is definitely the right approach. Now, their objective in a round like this is to take away as many weapons from Bonk as possible. Farm up their old charges as well. You see Fearoff go through with the drone. The rest of his team entering on the back of that. He already has his ult, so it's even better that he's in the back lines. And they're going to start moving in towards the C side. No, they're not. Even catching me off guard with this push in towards the spawn. The paranoia's, though, going to be traded out. Ziz catches all of them, and that halts the plans completely. Oh, what a shot. That was actually Aaron that took Brian down.
What?
But,
I thought that was the wallbang. I thought that was the wallbang.
It looked like it was. It was perfectly on him. I think he weakened him up anyways. But look at this. They've only got one frag on the NiP side. Spike is down, so no plan possible.
No.
This is a really, really solid round from Bonk. They're avoiding giving any sort of equity to NiP for the mixed buy they've gone for.
Hip's just trying to push forward, but you're risking it going into those back lines. Oh, nice shot with the ghost. Looks for some more, but Ziz is there. An easy spray down to pick up 2. A 10th round as well. They're 5 ahead. And with the weapons in their hand, 3 alive. They've definitely kept hold of the operator as well, so that just gets passed back over to safe. I need this. Crazy. Now, this is interesting for me, though, Mitch, because Lucka has his operator on the attacking side. That's where he can really shine. That's where we can see him open up the rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Does he want to risk it and have a poke towards potentially a long, for example?
You know, for NiP, this is such an important round. You expect to see risks fairly limited. That's a very aggressive play by Safe. Of course, if it gets risky, you can almost dash out of there up above, but you don't see it all too often. The jumps above the smoke. And Bonk are feeling confident. They've got such a heavy lead at the moment. Winning this buy round puts NiP back down to not a whole lot of cash. Probably do a mixed buy with just a couple like ghosts and such.
Imagine how good it must feel for Bonk right now. You're so close potentially to eliminating NiP, going to the grand final. The team that dropped you, not obviously didn't drop the whole Bonk roster, but 2 of the players. Let them get rid of this, right? And say, you should have kept us. Oh, Kree. Stills 8 sound you're seeing. Fear off trying to make it work with the Hunter's Fury. Not much success found, though. Bonk still up in the numbers advantage. Kree wants to give himself an opportunity to push on through with this. Is it going to be enough to play off the side? Fear off. Oh, he goes up high. He didn't expect that himself, I don't think. Oh, safe. He's doing it again. Ziz with the final kill. 11 secured. And Bonk, they continue to make it happen.
That was a nice wall by Rhyme, but yeah, Fear did look a little bit lost on that one. I don't know if it was communicated fully on timing, or maybe he just wasn't hitting the shots and it looks that way to us, but for...
It looked like he was confused.
In a way, it almost looked like Bonk ready for that, though. They're so quick on the reaction once they came up above. So I guess as soon as you hear that wall, you're realizing, okay, I don't see the wall. Maybe they're coming up above something. That's nice, easy kills on 11 to 5. This is huge for Bonk. They're so far ahead at the moment. Ult's not going to come into play in this round for their opponents either. And so they just need to keep on that consistent performance. The nade pushes Hip back early on. You're not going to see any aggression on the back of it, though. Bonk were just looking to tickle a couple of opponents.
Oh man, the interview after this is going to be nuts. NiP, they need to start pulling rounds back. They need to show some signs of life.
They've just been fully smoked out of going to the A side. Ziz on a very aggressive play, able to get one, but up against weaker weapons, he's punished. The long, woo, Yassine's going everywhere as well. Remember, they've not got a Sage, so this damage sustained is unhealable. Kree cancels just in time, as he was just about to be spotted and taken down. And you'll see some players do that. They know the timing so well of that ult that they'll leave their backs turned to it and then turn just as it's too late for them to cancel. I think that was attempted there, but unfortunately, Kree had the read. 11 to 5. Such an important round for Bonk. And even with the low HP on Yassine, he's got his ultimate. That showstopper can be the difference maker. But it's going to be the A site that's threatened. And look at this. Without having your Cypher towards here, no cam up. They're just able to creep on through and get that really fast flank. NiP have got such good positions now.
This is actually huge. Kree expects someone up high, but actually the site is clear. Spike's going to go down. Bonk will have the information now. The full rotation will come in. Bonk are trying to land the shock darts in there. How much information can he get off this as they want to try and make their way in? It's going to be a timing push from Bonk. The fact that NiP have got this far is quite huge anyway. 2 up in the tower for now. Yassine, ult in play. He sends the rocket out. It lands onto Kree. It's less than ideal for NiP. Oh, they've been spotted as well. They run round, spamming the corners, spamming the players down. It's all on Rhyme. Rhyme time once again. But is he going to shine? There's only 1 kill found thus far. On to the second. It's game on. He's spraying it away. Ooh, he delivers some more damage, but it's just not enough.
like the end of the Titanic. Both players just sitting together, never let go. But luckily this time they're not forced to, as they get that defuse on.
12-5. Series point, Mitch. Bonk could be eliminating NiP here.
I mean, this has caught me off guard as well, Banks, because realistically, NiP should, like, the last map was great for them, right? So there's no way they're coming in a bad mental space. I said from the start, I thought Bonk would take this map. I thought Bonk would look like the better team, even after being stomped on the previous one. But literally, I said it was going to be close. Yeah, we're looking at NiP putting up a very good fight, maybe even taking it. Said it was close to a coin flip for Bonk. This is insane. This kind of performance pulled out of the bag. I said that they wanted to win this series so they could turn around and say, NiP, you might have dropped some of us, but you made a mistake. We're the better team than you when you're not on form and when you're on form. Any day, we'll take you. And Bonk are showing that. They might not know how to play blind, but give them any other map, and they'll walk away with it.
And mate, this is only just the start. We've had an epic semi-final. We're going into G2 versus FPX next as well. NiP fighting for survival. The wall goes up, but Ziz is up high. Yassine's there to back him up as well. The paranoia goes out, but look at the blast packs. Perfect use of them just in the nick of time. Ziz is finding the kills either way, and NiP, they can't push in on this just yet. They don't have the information. They don't have the knowledge to fight into this. They're going to try and make it work here in C, but Aaron, he's only holding down one, but the information's had. They're starting to push in. The revives come in. This could be what they need, but Ziz, he's not done yet. Yassine's hitting headies all day long. And Ziz can just be so annoying. Only one player remaining. 4v1. It's all in Bonk's favor. Ryan trying to come from behind. Safe expects it. He delivers with the operator. And Bonk are going to the grand finals here at the Level Clash 2, Mitch. Their shot at taking down another big team today will come a little bit later on. Bonk, I said at the beginning on day one, they had a great opportunity in this event, right? Not having to go through the qualifiers. They've been grinding. They've been putting up these numbers. And my God, when they topped the group, you were surprised. But now they've just done this. This is an epic way to go up against NiP. This is not once, but twice in best of threes they've managed to take the wins.
You got to remember, Bonk are not a team that, like, if you've only started watching this game recently, you'll remember that obviously Bonk, they're in the open qualifiers, they're often not making it to main events, but then you go back to like the mandatory cup. This is exactly how it played out. They beat NiP in the semifinals, made it to the finals where they took on G2, didn't manage to take them down. In fact, got 3-0'd in a BO5 grand final, but those maps were pretty close. And now they look like a much better team than they did back then.
And Bind was worse for Bonk this time around, but Haven, so much better. So much better. They wanted this so bad, and they just showed us how. The hammers are going crazy in Twitch chat right now because Bonk are living up to their name. Bonking NiP down and eliminating them in style here. What a way for this to play out, and what a storyline. We got to keep coming back to it, right? That not only did you get removed from the organization, you were deemed not good enough, you've now built another team around a couple of the players and said, we can do this all over again.
Yeah, it's great to see the likes of Yassine delivering the same performance again and again. He was so good throughout this series. I love his raise as well. I feel like he's probably one of the smarter raises in terms of how he's deploying a lot of his utility, the way he's clearing out angles with every single piece of it, because sometimes it can feel like Artis, for example, right? He's an amazing player, but he's so aggressive. Every time he gets his ult up, he's like, they've got classics, I'm gonna ult them. Like, immediately it's popped. I don't think I've seen him save it more than one round, whereas Yassine picks his moment a lot more precisely. I feel like Bonk are a team that now, after building up over these last couple weeks, there's someone that can definitely pose a threat in this grand final.
This best be the next team that gets picked up by an organization. I'm telling you that now. If they can keep this form up, there you go. Yeah, for EU, 3 in the world. 3 in the world for EU. I like the
number 3 in our world.
Yeah, in your world. Yes, in your world. I get it. Where would they sit in world rankings then? What's the world rankings on them at the moment?
Their world ranking is 6, so still pretty good.
Still damn good. That is still so damn good. Man, there's serious tough competition out here. While we're waiting for this interview to get underway, because we're going to have an interview with Yassine, it looks like. I remind you guys that if you want to win 10,500 Valorant points, type ! giveaway in chat. This has been the Level Clash 2 powered by Logitech. We're having a fantastic time. We are having such an amazing set of games already. And next up, we've got G2 taking on FPX, Mitch. Oh, man.
It's going to be unbelievable.
let's get ourselves into this interview. Let's bring Yassine in, because the first thing I want to start with when I ask this man is, first of all, Yassine, can you hear me, my man? There he is.
Okay, wait, do you hear me?
I hear you now, buddy. I hear you.
Nice,
Yassine, you kept your word, brother. You kept your word.
Yeah.
You said, I'll be speaking to you again. You'd be in these grand finals. You have done it. And how does it feel to do it so convincingly on Haven after you lost pretty roughly on Bind? Like, it got worse than last time.
Yeah, but you know, that's the case when you only practice one map, man. That's what happens, all right? We get destroyed on Bind by them, and it's okay, because we have 3 solid pool, 3 more maps, you know? And the funny part is, the last time we met them, they had the upper seed then as well. So it was Bind again, you know? I'm telling you, if we go Ascent Bind, Ascent Split, we win, okay? 2-0, 100%, all right? And I gotta say, Banks, Malcolm has told me, Bonk has told me he wants me to say hello from him.
Hey.
Hopefully you can talk to him after the finals. You know, we're kind of counting on not coming
down.
second this time, you know?
Oh, no, I know it's all about that. Now, I want to come to Ascent, right? Because they hit match point, right? I think it was like 16-8, 16-9, no, 16, 12-8, 12-9. I'm doing a bit of CS maths in my head. And I'm thinking, this is looking rough. But you guys came back into it and then won it in overtime. What were you guys saying to each other at this point? Because I was thinking, like, okay, this NiP has kind of got you guys numbered, especially since they've added Killjoy in.
Honestly, when it comes to fair weapon rounds, okay, there's no operator, there's no jet operator. You know, it's an honest 5v5 weapon round, all utility on both sides. We win those rounds, all right? The rounds we lose, however, you know, it's the thrifty rounds, it's the jet ulti killing 4, it's the operator in the 258 off angle in the game. You know, when we face those things, we lose. But you know, as soon as we kind of get control, you know, from here on out, it's gonna be a lot of weapon rounds. You know, we will win. We will win. And honestly, I had a off game by my team, man. I mean, look at this, look at Safe, man. These are the best players in the world, and they're playing in my team, man. I am proud. And then I cannot forget Bunker Iron, of course. You know, they are so. I wanted to curse. But they're so good, man, all right? But, you know, if I just pull my weight, I think we'll win the finals, okay? I think so.
Now, this is the thing, right? You have had so many amazing games, but the whole team showed up here, especially just on Haven. What is the feeling, first of all, of making it to the grand finals? And who do you want to face out of G2 and FPX? Are you looking to get that revenge? Because they 3-0'd you last time.
No, we really want G2 to win. We really want to face them. Like, honestly, I get really nervous when I play officials, man. I get really nervous. And I know that I'm not the only one. So the first final, you know, it was the biggest final in my entire career, honestly. Honestly. And now the way we're playing, man, if you just could hear our comms, you know, we're laughing, we're chilling, you know, we're playing like it's ranked, man. We're just enjoying ourselves, you know, playing for each other, with each other, and never against each other, man.
That's what it's all about, Yassine. Some strong words coming out from you again, man. Honestly, it's been a great pleasure to watch you guys take this stride forward. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the finals. I'm going to let you get on, get some food, get some rest, and probably watch this game that's coming up, because it's going to be G2 versus FPX next. Yassine, go off and enjoy your time. Oh, yeah, it is. It definitely is.
Take care, Banks.
What a man. I love this guy. He's so full of energy. Do you know what? If he can't sell you on Bonk, if you're an organization watching right now, if that doesn't sell you enough, the results definitely will. Like, he's got charisma, he's hype, he's definitely confident the whole way through. They want this so bad, and you feel that energy. Like, think of this, right? For anyone that may be just watching and only knows me from Valorant side of things, I've been doing interviews for a very long time across like Counter-Strike and other games. You don't often get an interview with that much energy, that much hype behind it, right? When it really means something. You get these players that have been there over and over again, and they're doing another interview, they're talking, they're enjoying it. But that's when you feel the real emotion. That's something special in there.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see how much it means, right? And as you were saying, hopefully we get to speak to Bonker as well. Be really interested to see how he feels, even about that NiP game. You know, these are the guys that came in and took his team's spot. They were above them in the rankings for a long time. Team Bonk were fluctuating up and down, and now they're starting to really prove themselves and attract a lot of eyes. You can see it in the Twitch chat, right? People are here to support them. They're here for this team. And coming into the finals now, they've definitely won a lot of people over.